You can drink in the morning. This isn't the ABC.
Dial it back a bit, okay? People are going to be looking at you in the street,
Too sexy.
asking for it. That's all I'm saying.
And I didn't hear any complaints.
Don't yuck my yum.
It was PG, Itchy and Scratchy. They were sitting on a porch, like
You play Son of Mason, whatever.
Does anyone mind if I take my shoes off?
Sure, I could lick a foot. I wouldn't like
And he
it.
has.
I wouldn't dislike
And he
it.
has.
Gus is gonna lick my foot. I hate feet. Gus apparently loves them.
People are exclaiming it. What did it happen?
What? What?
Did it happen?
Hello and welcome to Back Pocket for Thursday, the 3rd of September 2020. I am your host, Nichboy Richardson. Tonight on the show, Pete's going to open up a shit show with what he's been playing. We open up your brains and pick them clean, and then we close out by opening up the back nine. But I can't open things all by myself, so joining me tonight is...
Gus, who has a bad taste in his mouth from last week still.
And Steph is very accident prone, so don't let her near anything important.
And Peter, who's embracing the new heat of summer.
It was a
It's
hot
not
one
summer,
today.
but
Was a warm
it's
one.
new heat.
A stinker.
New heat indeed.
T-shirt, shirt, casual. This is nice.
There you go. And it's nice to have you guys here as well. Welcome to the show. Very excited. Now, can I start? I don't want to bring
You usually
everybody...
do. Please do.
True. I don't want to bring everybody down.
Oh,
But I was driving here, and hello everyone. I'll get to you in a second. I was driving here, and I drive past a soccer field of kids playing, after school, whatever.
Sure.
That is sad.
Yeah, and I looked at them, and I was like, remember that feeling when you're at school and it's like, my life hasn't started yet, and I just have my whole life ahead of me, and that that sweet feeling, and I was like, well, sure, like now I'm leaving my house with like a beautiful family, these great kids. I'm driving in a car that I own, definitely speeding, screaming, listening to music. I'm on the way to a studio to do a show with my friends, with a company that I own. I'll do some coke later, and it's like all those feelings. Like at some point in the after show, someone's gonna show me like weird drawings of us, but none of that would be possible when I was at school. But I'll never get that feeling back
And
of
that-
like my life ahead of me.
You know what it is too? It's just the complete lack of responsibility or pressure to do anything of consequence.
Absolutely.
and that poor child playing soccer you'd pulled off to tell him all of this. This is going to be my life tonight.
One day.
That's why I was late. And then the second thing I'll say, which is less of a bummer, but I was listening to Mr. Brightside on the way here. Pete, imagine writing a song so good that you write half a song and then you go, you know what?
That'll
This
do.
is perfect. I'm just going to repeat it and we're done.
The thing is, like, Mr. Brightside is a fun song.
Yeah.
It's not a world-changing song, but it changed the UK in ways that cannot be described. Like, people in the UK go fucking mental for that song.
mean, don't
and
just-
it's just the Killers.
White people in general go mad
yeah,
for that
totally.
song.
Would you say it changed the UK more than, say, I Get Knocked Down by Chumbawamba?
It did,
Shit.
because no one's still singing that. But if the Killers comes on in a pub, 50-year-old men who've just been like making steel will jump up onto a table.
Can steal.
Mining coal, whatever they still do in the UK. What do they got? What natural resources are in the UK?
There's a steelworks around
Fucking
or
nothing.
something.
Chips, I think.
Chips?
Yeah.
Paper, isn't it? From like The Office? That's what they
Yeah,
do.
right,
Basic
that's it.
like office
That's not a
stationery.
natural resource there.
Yeah.
Steph needs some more volume, apparently.
Yeah.
I always
Or
need more
just
volume.
A little bit there.
Chat, can we please get the full lyrics written one sentence at a time by different members of the chat of Mr. Brightside? And once you hit the first half of the song, you can just repeat the whole thing again. But that would be fantastic. All right, welcome to Back Pocket. We are back on, and I'll tell you what, we're going to pick another goddamn night. So many people streaming tonight.
It is a busy one.
It's a
yeah.
busy night.
It's the sort of Tuesday and Thursday night seem to be the really big ones I've noticed for people
If
streaming.
people that are social and have plans, they're probably going to do it on a Friday or a Saturday. Monday seems like everyone's still kind of figuring out what's happening. But Tuesdays and Thursdays is where the party's at.
What's happening on Wednesdays?
Project much too.
Wednesdays, everyone's just like getting over
voice.
the first half. It's hump day. It's just, it's one of those ones. But I was streaming on Sundays, which I thought would be perfect. You think Sunday afternoon, that's when people are just lethargically lying around. They've had a busy week. They've had a busy weekend. They're just going to lie there and be like, okay, I'm done. And Sundays are even quiet as well. People are too lazy to watch a stream on a
I was
Sunday.
doing a cooking stream on Sunday. It was very successful.
All right, then it's just me.
They're doing it. It's great.
They're right. Coming out of a cage, they're doing just fine.
I'm so chuffed.
And remember,
okay.
you can just copy the line that you're looking at right now and paste it in like 4 seconds because it's going to be the next line in the song.
We did talk about, we played some songs, we were listening to some music beforehand. Your ears pricked up when you thought about a karaoke stream of some sort. So maybe that'll be something we'll have to
Twitch sings. Maybe?
So
sing. Just us, just back pocket sings.
And we'll get to the show at some point.
Yeah.
But in between the space where like Pocket and Good Game were cancelled and we weren't allowed to talk about screenplay, I did some streams at home where it was literally just like I would put on a playlist of 30 songs and I would play Hearthstone, but it was mainly just like me singing to chat. And there was a hardcore group of fans of a couple of hundred people who were just like so fucking there for that. So that was fun. So we should do that again. Okay, we need to move on with the show. Before we get to the meat of it, we should talk about some of the stuff that we're doing this week, and particularly Stephanie, Best Friend Forever.
Oh my gosh. What a joyous reaction to our first, are we calling it play date?
That's adorable.
Yes.
Play date, to our first play date. So we did, in classic Dream Daddy style, if you remember from Screenplay days, we did a play date of Best Friend Forever. It got wild. It was like, I was crying at one point. I was laughing so hard. And I don't know, we hoped that it would be like worthy of your love in the way that some of the stuff that we've done in the past was. But the reaction to it has just been so overwhelming and lovely that I cannot wait to do more.
I'm so glad you guys have this genre of game between the two of you. Like, it's such a pure, lovely, positive genre. And then you guys get in there and, like, I was going to say, like, you don't mess it up. It's like you have such fun in there.
Sometimes we accidentally do by naming our characters.
I mean,
things
yeah,
we didn't mean to.
but it's never out of
Happy little
spite.
accident.
It's never out of trying
Yeah.
to make the game, poke fun at the game. Like, you guys enjoy the message that's there, and I find it very pure to watch. It's enjoyable. And then, by contrast, we played a game this week, which is the total opposite of that. So we have that to look forward to.
So you can tell there will be a trailer for that later on the show, but just tell the people a little.
We played the polar opposite of a dating sim, which was a cooperative
I
body.
think it was an abortion sim.
It's
no.
Oh,
I mean,
saw it.
no.
context, the game is
That
called...
sounds disgusting, but like when you see the vision of
Yeah, it's
it,
not far off.
It's not far off.
The game is called Struggling, and it is a single player, but also a cooperative game where we controlled a amorphous blob of human flesh through some sort of science lab.
I would say it's a game that's designed to be approached by two people to spend some time together to come to know how each other approach different obstacles and scenarios and kind of get a sense of who they are as a person, kind of like a date.
All right, I see what
Did
you
we
did
go
there.
on a fetus date?
We did. Yeah.
Romantic.
That's a hell of a game. So that was very exciting. And then the last thing is that we have been rolling out your somewhat daily backups, Peter, and they've been quite.
And don't forget, they're all mine.
They're yours.
Yeah.
Well, technically, you're on every one of them.
That's true.
Or behind the scenes of them
Yeah.
at the moment. We'll work that out.
But so that's been very enjoyable. So that's the new show that's happening Mondays and Wednesdays seems to be the schedule that we are locking in at the moment. And that's taking the news out of here a little bit and putting it somewhere else where we can enjoy our time.
Bit of mid-morning news discussion.
It's good. I see a lot of people saying, "Am I sitting in front of a green screen?"
Yeah, I've heard that too. Someone
Yeah.
watching was like, "Is Nick on a Zoom?"
you just look very
replace
crisp.
call. Yeah,
Yeah.
Very
It's
crisp.
just you got a wide lens that's close to you,
Yep.
and then you have just IKEA in the background.
Yeah,
So
it's just a
it's like,
clean
yeah.
room. Yeah.
It's like That can't be real. And yeah, it is the cleanliness of the room as well, because it's all like, it's a guest room.
Yeah.
So no
And
one's
we
actually
have,
ever messing
we've been
up.
on calls with you in that room where someone's come in and just straightened it up. So we know it's not you beforehand. It's like someone will come in and be like, this.
Yeah.
It is a guest room. And the point of a guest room is, I would say 9 times out of 10 is just to look like a nice room.
Yeah, it's an inviting
Oh,
hotel
that's
space.
not your actual bedroom.
Oh God, no.
Because it's immaculate.
Yeah. No, the bedroom has like, there's a baby cot in the bedroom. There's handcuffs in the bedroom. The bedroom's the whole thing. But like that room is occasionally, you'll see someone come in and chop a pillow and then walk back out. So welcome to Back Pocket. We're excited to have you here. Obviously, if you're here, you know about twitch.tv/back_pocket. But if you haven't subscribed, remember that your free Prime sub that everybody gets if you subscribe to Prime has probably lapsed by now. So who are you going to give it to?
Also, it's September.
Oh, yeah. And
It's
what does that mean?
September. I believe, I don't actually know a lot about it, but I believe
just make it up.
the more you sub, the cheaper it gets in September.
I think
So-
it's 3 and 6 month tiered things you get discounts on.
Yeah.
Right.
So you may as well just sub more to pay less.
Absolutely. And if you don't want to pay anything, but you are already paying something, then just use your Prime sub and give it to us. And then the final plug, while I'm asking for things, is head to patreon.com/backpocket and become a member of the Patreon. And it's not just giving us money for nothing. Obviously, we're giving you this show, which you're watching for free right now. And honestly, like, this is the best fucking deal on the internet right now. And the fact that you're not paying for it, you should be slightly ashamed. But you also get access to the Discord. Gus will draw pictures for people at an appropriate tier. You can put your picture down there at an appropriate tier. And then there's definitely going to be commercials made that we're going to definitely start doing next week. Definitely.
Definitely.
Very
Next
excited about them.
I'm very excited about them as well. All right, let's jump into something else that we've been excited about, which is our gaming week. Oh, I'm just saying what you all been playing. Brought to you by Brent Jones, aka Loki Cat. Gus, tell me about Loki Cat.
Well, if you have a cat and you think that cat's kind of lonely, I could use another cat, then you could get a Loki cat. And in this case, Loki Cat, as we've discovered, is a man. So in this case, it would be a man to play with your cat. It wouldn't be actually another cat to keep that cat company, which is often suggested.
Interesting.
I have a cat that lives on its own. It could use someone to keep it company when I'm not there. Maybe I get Brent Jones around.
I love it. It should be a valuable service that you can pay for.
I think it's called pet sitting.
I think it's called
True, it
owning a
exists.
cat.
Yeah,
God damn
exactly.
Aren't you supposed to be that man that plays with your cat?
I am, but I have limited time in the day.
That's
and,
true.
Yeah.
And you can buy little things, robots that have lasers on them.
You can buy robots
cat
that
with.
feed your pets,
kind
that
of
play
want
with your
one of those
pets.
webcams that
To
like
just watch Brent?
yeah.
I have a cat webcam story, and that might be for the post show.
Yeah, save it for post show.
Oh,
Let's get
wow.
into the actual
Yeah.
show.
Okay.
Sure.
Well, it's just that I know what happens in the post show, and I don't know if I want to hear that story now. All right, let's talk about the games that we've been playing this week. Thank you very much, Loki Cat. Peter, start us off. What have you been playing?
Okay, I'll start us off because I've been playing the latest and greatest of all the shooters. Is that playing or is that's
playing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we're waiting on you.
Well, it's just, I mean, games didn't move much back then, did they?
they really
That's,
didn't. And back then implies that it's the new
it's
old Halo.
Halo 3. I have been, like, I've got my Dota group, and we've got to stop playing so much Dota. So we're like, let's just branch out into other things. And we're like,
Can I just say that I've been in his Discord channel once. I was allowed in there to play. What were we playing? Grounded.
who let you in there?
You did.
You've been in there since we made it.
No. Just recently.
Oh, yeah, right.
And then they have their main channel called Dota Friends.
Yep.
And then they have another channel called Other Worse Games.
That's where I hang out.
And then we have trash tier games like PUBG, because we still play PUBG.
Yep.
But that's like below other games now. And there's one in there still called, what was it? Mordhau. There's one called Mordhau. There's one called Mordhau Island. And it's just a great by itself. But we decided that we wanted to play some shooters, and we jumped into one of Bungie's finest in Halo 3 and just played through the campaign on Legendary. And I forgot how fun shooter campaigns used to be. Like, obviously, Titanfall 2 is a recent example of a thing that worked, but,
Yeah, this looks stimulating.
well, when you're in it, when you're feeling it.
Is it moving?
There's something about the Halo games, man, and they just feel so good. You don't need a sprint. fuck off your sprint. And obviously, like, we were stimulated by the fact that Halo Infinite was announced, and then we're like, let's play it, and then it was like postponed, and we're like, well, now we have to play it because we want to play Halo.
Yeah.
Now, has this been? This is part of the Master Chief Collection on PC.
Yep.
Has 3? Because I lost touch with that. But has 3 been out on that for a while, or was that still?
Is this? Am we watching? Is it? I'm not trolling. Is this original Halo 3 or new Halo?
I don't know what trailer you
I don't think
sent us.
3 never got a.
But like graphically, this would be new Halo 3.
3 never got.
There
a
is no
graphic-
new Halo 3.
There was no graphical overhaul for that.
No.
That was one.
Oh,
and two.
No,
right.
there's no anniversary.
Oh, okay,
We're
right.
I don't know if they'll bother doing it. Halo 2 anniversary looks better than Halo 3.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
But Halo 3 is my favorite of the original trilogy. Maybe not, like, I think the first campaign is probably the best campaign, but the first game is hard to go back and play, whereas this one is quite easy to go back and play. It feels really good.
So my question was: has 3 been on the PC version of Master?
Yeah, about a month and a half
Okay,
or
yeah.
something.
I still
Yeah,
remember
a
seeing
little while.
something in the news that like,
Yeah,
oh,
it wasn't.
3's out
It's
now.
not that long ago, but yeah, it's on PC. Master Chief Collection runs better than ever, which is to say, it's still broken as fuck. But like the netcode's still a bit screwy, and
Yeah.
And thankfully, the guy who's responsible for that has now been moved.
He's
to
now
Halo
on Infinite.
well, no, he was never part of Master Chief Collection.
No,
State.
the Master Chief Collection guy has moved to Halo Infinite for the multiplayer.
I thought it was Joseph Staten.
Yeah,
He was-
he's there
I
too.
thought he was at Bungie still.
Yeah, no, so there's him, but then the other guy,
Pierre
Pierre
something?
someone.
Oh, who's that guy?
working,
Who's that guy?
He's working on the
Well, I
multiplayer
care now. He's on
netcode
this.
for Master
Okay,
Chief
well, that's a
Collection.
disaster.
And he's now
Yeah.
on Infinite. Yes, exactly.
Maybe he learned some hard lessons and he's willing to apply the lessons.
He hasn't learned a fucking thing. Master Chief Collection came out. Master Chief Collection came out on console. How many years ago? Like that was 2015 or 16 or something.
Kind of
Yeah.
Optimistic.
No,
Ages.
no, that's totally a
You get
downer.
angry, grumpy Pete when
That's
you say
totally a
Halo.
downer.
No.
Halo
Play any game.
is the greatest. Is one of the greatest games.
And you guys are just playing the campaign, no multiplayer?
Well, we played some multiplayer, but it was like it had to be 3v1 to make it kind of fair
Oh wow.
because I just destroyed them.
Oh wow.
But like they
Jeez.
they just.
He says with glee.
But it's that thing I was talking about last week, where it's like everyone thinks they're shit hot at, maybe not, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, but everyone thinks they're shit hot at Halo, but if they never played online, then absolutely not. Just because you're better than your friends doesn't mean you're good at Halo, and I am not good at Halo 3. I mean, obviously I was decent at it, but like, because I was level 50 or whatever, like the top rank, but there were people in the top rank that were vastly superior to me.
We just make it side eyes at your face. So how are the Dota boys playing this? Like, are you
We're all on
playing,
PC.
But are you are you all just playing like the same time?
Yeah. We totally we only played 2 or 3 sessions of it. It was just like, let's play through the campaign on Legendary.
That's so, and you're all playing on your own things at the same time, the same parts.
No, it's co-op. 4-player co-op.
What? I
Yeah.
never played Halo.
Sorry. Yeah, we played through the whole
thought-
campaign
so
together.
funny that
That's-
you thought that's what they were doing.
I was like, that's so wholesome.
I did that once actually though with Mass Effect. We played through Mass Effect at the same time, right next to each
Yeah,
other,
yeah.
with a little divider. That was like early blossoming days of our relationship.
It was, yeah.
so sweet.
What, where the divider was like, oh, we mustn't touch.
No,
It's the chaperone.
It was like, I mustn't see how
prevent
I killed a
spoilers.
Geth or Gek
Yeah.
or whatever.
yeah,
that's called.
because especially because like while we were playing at the same time, like our stories kind of went on different paths, so we
Right,
didn't
of
want to
course.
see like certain missions play out in certain ways.
I have a final question about this.
Yep.
The fact that you're playing co-op with 4 people, I only ever played Halo 3 on Xbox, so therefore I think it only ever had 2-player split screen co-op. I
No,
don't think it
you
had.
just didn't have enough friends.
Did it have 4-player on? Okay,
Pretty
but
sure
again,
Halo
who
3
played?
always
No,
had 4
it wasn't great to play 4 people.
Maybe it was online only.
Well, then I was about to
Two-player
ask.
local.
I don't remember playing. I think even online felt like it was 2. I'm wondering if the 4-player. Maybe chat might know. 4-player co-op is just a PC thing because that's cool. I've never played with more than one other person.
4 online,
definitely-
2 split screen says Purple Chaos.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I guess
So
I
it
just
always would have been.
Yeah, never wanted to play with 3 other
think-
people in an online thing.
And
Is that-
like you
it-
monster your way through it.
Well, I was gonna ask, are there enough targets? Because that's playing co-op Halo is just people.
Well, you
rushing
kind
for
of
kills.
it becomes not cooperative but competitive.
Competitive.
Which is
Everyone's
a
just
term
getting in there,
coined
like-
in next week's episode of.
Which actually I realized all I did was take out an M.
Yeah,
Yeah. But competitive still works.
totally works.
It still works.
But you are
So you
competing,
get a score, and you're trying to like you're trying to outdo your mates.
Oh, Maddie G says this Halo chat is making me sleepy. Too bad. Move on.
Matty G can fuck off.
Oh, God,
Don't
the days
poke
of the
him.
little respectful divider between the two of you.
Yeah.
Sorry, Matty G, you can stay.
That was just a
we'll
punch
move
in
on
the dick.
because playing Halo inspired the group to move on to another Bungie title,
Oh yeah. What
Destiny.
game? What game?
Destiny 2.
Nick, have you heard of
Worse
this game?
than Halo.
I fucking lost him in our Slack. I called him words that you don't let us use.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a bad man.
I knew you would react that way as well because
Yeah.
I led it with like, you're gonna hate me for this, but I've been playing Destiny.
Weird. What prompted that?
Just
We
more
were just
fun.
playing Halo, and then we're like, well, we're gonna run out of this.
What's
And
like Halo but not Halo?
Yeah,
well,
basically.
it's literally the same developer, so it's like it just feels the same.
Yeah.
It feels like Destiny feels like Bungie wish they could have kept the Halo IP when they went to make this game. I hope Halo Infinite is just Destiny with Halo.
Oh god, I wish
it
it
would
was
be
as
amazing.
interesting as Destiny looks.
What?
Like like the idea of Halo is so boring looking to me that I'm like I like Destiny in that they took all the
is
skills they
Earth.
learned from Halo. I mean, not the storytelling, and then moved it over to a game that actually like has a compelling.
Do you like the lore of Destiny?
I like
not
the
love
fact
it,
that there's an egg that in the sky that we think is going to hatch. But other than that, no.
Yeah, okay.
Like I dip in and out, but I don't really care.
I was
I feel like what I like about it though is that for a console, well, I mean, I played it on console shooter. It feels like it's very forgiving when it comes to the shooty bangs.
Yes.
Because
Game
I'm
assistance.
very, very bad at that. But when I play this, I'm like, maybe I'm not that bad.
Yeah.
I definitely am. The game's helping me out.
But that's a great feeling.
It's a great feeling, yeah.
How are you feeling about this game?
Yeah, it hasn't changed since vanilla Destiny 1.
What are you? Yeah, that's true. What are you playing?
Well, I played it I downloaded it on Steam because it's free on Steam. I made a new Warlock, and because I used to play Warlock on Destiny 1, and I played through Destiny 1 for hours and hours and hours. Like I finished it, if you could finish Destiny 1. Yeah, and I'm just getting back into the grind. I mean, it's really just a MMO grind. And it was fun, and like after the first session, I was like, hell yeah. And then after the second session, I was like, oh yeah. So I don't think I'll play much more, but like, yeah, it's cool. It is a cool looking game, and all the effects are pretty and stuff.
Definitely. I know this is going to piss you off, but you're playing with a mouse and keyboard?
No.
Oh, shit. Okay, right.
Bungie don't make these
No,
games
that's what I'm
with
saying.
mouse and
I thought that I was like, I would only ever play Destiny with a controller, especially even if I was on PC. And I just assumed you loved PC shooting with a mouse and keyboard, that would have been one. But yeah, that was my thing that I love about Destiny and the Halo games as well. It's just they are so tailored for that controller experience. And you're right, it's forgiving, but it also feels so, as I said, tailored for it. It's a really fun way to feel good at a shooter sometimes.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, and I would say that like what we saw of Infinite, I think looks more interesting from a world design perspective because I have the exact opposite feelings that Nick has, obviously. But this looks better than Halo Infinite, and Halo Infinite is still to come. So
Well,
like,
look,
visually looks
when you want to play it next, Nick, I would love to play with you.
Destiny?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Let's do
Okay,
it.
great. Well, it's actually coming to Game Pass, like for free, all the expansions. So they're doing the like legit like the.
But they
fucking
are,
Game
from what
Pass.
I've heard, doing the content vault.
Yeah,
where
which would
they're-
be good. That's good. That's good.
Okay, all right.
There's too much stuff in there. It's overwhelming. The content vault is when you can start playing, and I'll play with you.
All right.
Also, that's weird. I play with mouse and keyboard on PC because it feels really good with a mouse and keyboard.
Destiny?
Yeah.
Wow.
It feels great. And normally I'm the controller guy when it comes to shooters because
There
I'm
we go.
terrible with mouse and keyboard. So there you go. There you go. You and I are just the opposite when it comes to Bungie.
Yeah.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Isn't that nice?
There you go. We'll play all the Bungie games, just half each.
Yeah, exactly. I'll tell you what. You boot up Halo Infinite single player, and I will at the same time on my home PC.
Yeah.
And then we'll jump on the Discord.
As we go.
I'll sit between you as a divider.
All right, moving on. Stephanie, what have you been playing?
This week I played Tell Me Why, which is Don't Nod's new game.
There's so many Destiny trailers.
Yeah, there's quite a few Destiny trailers.
All good.
Which is Don't Nod's new game. So they're the devs behind Life is Strange.
Yes.
And this new game follows a brother and sister, identical twins, both assigned female birth, but the game's, this is not a spoiler because this is the first thing you see in the game and it's kind of important to sort of set up the story. But the game kind of opens with one of the kids cutting their hair and explaining that their mother tried to kill them, like reacted badly to this, tried to kill them, and then they killed their mother in self-defense. Like huge, dramatic, really traumatic opening. And so then, you know, the game sort of takes place then, jumps ahead 10 years, and the brother, Tyler, who has transitioned, is going back and meeting his sister for the first time to kind of approach this horrible event of their past and sell their mother's house. And through that, discover that there's perhaps more to the story of what happened all those years ago.
Yeah.
It's a really like intense story. Obviously, it sets in a small town in Alaska, which is a really cool setting for a game like this. And I think what's really cool about it too is that they've introduced a mechanic similar to the kind of time mechanic, I suppose, that you have in Life is Strange, but this one allows them to tap into memories from their past. Which I think is really important because I think with the prequel to Life is Strange came out, because the Max character wasn't really in it, they lost that ability to play with, like, bend time, and then the game was kind of a little bit boring because you didn't have an active part in, you know, the actions that were taking place.
Yep.
In this, it's not that you're just remembering things that happened, but they remember things differently. So you then have to, you know, decide between you which is the memory that you're going to go with. Which I still don't fully understand how that's going to work out in terms of the story development, because am I just choosing the memory that I want to be real, or is it the memory that is ultimately going to determine what actually happened? Am I affecting the past?
Yeah.
Or is it just like, you
A plot
think this
device
happened,
that-
but actually it didn't happen that way and you were just wrong?
Yeah, right. Is it like, does it become canon
Yeah.
or not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've just played almost to the end of the first episode, but I haven't quite finished the first episode, but most of the first episode. Yeah.
So I have been playing this as well, and I think I'm kind of where you are.
Yeah,
Like
right.
I've been to the house and I'm now in the town. I am really conflicted about this game. I think a pawn called Bishop in the chat said, I've been worried about playing this because the themes are so heavy and important, and I don't know if I trust Don't Nod. And I think that was part of the sentiment that I saw online, is like, you're dealing with a trans character who is one of the main characters. This hasn't really happened really in sort of high profile games. Like tons of indie games have dealt with this, but you know, high profile games generally not. And I was like, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they handle this. And I feel like they handle this with such kid gloves that they're so worried about how they're going to fuck this up that they don't tell an interesting story. And I guess it's like, I was like going into this going, okay, tell me the story, because all the marketing has been about trans character, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, tell me the story about this trans character. And then it begins and it starts to tell you this the story, and I'm like, okay, this you aren't really focusing a lot on the transness of this character. In a sort of heavy, meaningful way, which is what I thought you would be doing with your marketing, and that is fine, because obviously, like, trans characters should be able to just exist in games without it being like pointed out. Oh, look at you, look at how like your life has a different meaning and purpose than everything else.
Yeah.
But with this game, it doesn't do that. But the marketing has been about that, and it feels like what they've ended up making is a very boring trans character, but being so worried about saying anything controversial about this person's experience that I kind of just go, you've just made a game about a really boring character that is now your lead character, and I don't care. Like, I just don't care. Like, every time they have an interaction with someone in Alaska who seems like they would be the bigoted person who would be like, oh, like, who dead names them or something. It's like they come up against them. They go, oh, you're one of the whatever girls, and the guy goes, no, actually, I'm the brother. And it's like, I didn't know they had a brother. And then
And then
you
what?
go,
They just move on. And
well, then you go, they didn't. And then the guy's like, and then just moves on. And I'm like, okay, I'm sure, like, obviously there would be lots of people who react like that and don't make a big deal of it. But this game feels like you were saying that the bigoted man in Alaska would make a deal out of this, and you need to, like, face that situation. I don't know. It just feels like it wants to tell me a story and then stops from going anywhere where it feels like it could push someone to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think they're very much trying to create an experience that's like a cool mystery game. And I think because they've dealt with LGBTQ stuff in the past and that was been received very well, they were
Yeah.
like, well, we should be the ones to, to champion the stories of other LGBTQ people. And taking this on is potentially a bigger feat than they thought it would be because there's been so little representation for trans people in the past.
This needs to be the game that is like the definitive game about this experience.
Yes,
Yeah.
but then you kind of run into this issue where you're like, well, this character then suddenly represents all trans people.
Totally.
And then that's not really fair on the makers of the game or, the writers or anything like that. But it's also like you want this character to be received well and you want it to touch on their experience, but not too much that it feels like it's representing every experience. And so then it becomes this whole thing of like, well, it's small town Alaska. They transitioned, then they went away, and now they're coming back to kind of face the awkwardness of people who knew this person as a little girl and is now a man.
Yeah.
And so, but coupled with the fact that there is this kind of broader video gamey mystery at play that you have to solve with what happened with the mother, which I have no idea what's going to happen, but I presume she seemed like she was a very bigoted person, but was actually kind of confused and going through some stuff and actually trying to find a way to deal with it in a really positive way.
Yeah.
And we will uncover some other reason as to why bad things happen.
And I imagine you guys both say you're sort of like how many hours would you say you've put into it thus far?
I played it for 3 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
and these are
like it's
shorter-
nearly, you'd be so close to the end because apparently
Yeah,
it's like
there was
three
one more
and a half
location
hours.
that I arrived at, which was
Right.
like a police station.
Is this one they're planning similar to Life is Strange that's going to have these kind of chapter-esque sequels that go
Yes,
ahead?
so I think
Okay,
that
right.
the next episode is out today.
Yeah, so
Oh,
they
right, it's
learned the
episodic,
lesson. The criticism that they got for Life is Strange 2 is that like they told that story over the course of a year and people just dropped off because it's like
Sure.
it's been way too long. So they made the full game and they're releasing it week by week. So it'll be finished next week.
Oh,
3
wow.
chapters and it's all done.
So 3 chapters, roughly sort of
3 hours each,
3
we
to 4
assume.
hours.
Yeah, 3.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I'm definitely like intrigued enough to keep playing. Like,
Yeah, right.
how the story turns out and everything, and I'm interested to see how this memory mechanic plays into the gameplay overall.
I feel like I will finish this one and I may not play the second one. Depends on how this one finishes out. The other issue that I had with it is I feel like the writing is pretty clunky, and I had some of that with Life is Strange 2, Life is Strange as well. But in this one, sorry everyone, I'm just have a terrible throat. In this one, there's the scene particular, and I think I know what the problem is. So the scene where they go back to the house and they are wandering around looking at everything from the house, they constantly refer to their mother as Marianne
Yeah.
as opposed to mum because it's like, they want to distance themselves or whatever.
Sure, yeah.
The words Marianne are uttered maybe 400 times in the space of like half an hour because I think what it is that it has, you go into this space and it feels like they haven't written a script that flows. What they've written is a bunch of chunks because they go, this is an adventure game and you wander around and you might not see everything. So like if you pick this up, you can't necessarily tie this to everything else in the room because people might miss that and so therefore they'll miss part of your story. So you can't come in 2/3 of the way through like a short vignette story by picking
Yeah.
up this item.
Yeah.
But also, that's not how people play adventure games. People walk into a room and see everything highlighted and just go through and click on everything because they go, this is the only way I can interact with that game. So when you do that, you click on everything that feels really segmented. And so therefore it's like, it needs to reestablish its story every time you interact with it, which is why they keep, every time it's like, Marianne. And I'm like,
Yeah.
just say her. You're in the house, you're talking about, this whole scene is talking about your mum. It's little things like that I go like, rip me out of the idea of like, experiencing these people's story, and instead I'm like, oh, I hear the voice actors standing in a booth.
To me, also, it's the clunky kind of interruption of dialogue when you accidentally like
Yeah.
click on
Move or
something
click
else.
something else, yeah.
Which I understand because it's like, well, you don't want to like finish this whole thought and then start the new thought if you've then walked away from that thing. Or it's like, oh, what's this? And it's like, well, you've actually moved away from that. But there's got to be a better way to transition that, and I feel like I've encountered that in other games.
Yep.
The other thing is that and obviously not every game should be held to the standard of Naughty Dog, but when you've experienced beautiful, organic motion capture and dialogue flow in that way, it's really hard to go back to something like this where even just the voice lines that they've recorded feel, like you say, very segmented.
Yeah.
And even just by closing the gap or
It's
giving them the
totally that.
opportunity for a bit of overlap would make it seem so much more natural. But every single line of dialogue is like, well, I don't even know what's going to happen when we get there. Huge pause. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll have to see. Huge pause. Listen, Alison.
It's like JRPG stuff.
Yeah. It's just like when people have a conversation, it flows really naturally and there's back and forth and people interrupt each other. And there's got to be a better way to do that, especially when the 90% of the story is taking place with a dialogue between two people.
Yeah, totally. And I do think that someone in the chat, who was it, Darcy Korn, mentioned this, and I totally agree. Darcy Korn says, I played What Remains of Edith Finch lately. That is my favorite narrative I've played in a game. And that game was phenomenal it's exactly the same thing. Exploring this old house, remembering your past life, or like your life in the past. And the way that it tells story in a really natural way. The dialogue flows phenomenally. The space of like you wander through this house, and because it knows that you're going to be exploring all these rooms properly, it weaves this narrative going from room to room. Yeah, I just feel like I feel like they spent a bunch of time really freaking out about how this story is going to be received and not enough time executing that story really well. But I do agree that it does have this weight of like, it needs to be the trans game, and that is an unfair label to put on like the expectation of like, this needs to be every trans person lived experience ever on this game, or it's a massive fail.
And I think it's a massive success that they've actually, well, not necessarily success, but like credit to them for
step forward.
Yeah.
I was just going to ask, like, semi-unrelated, are the characters likable? Like, in just their personalities?
She has massive attitude that is annoying. Like, you know when they write a character that is just, like, super defensive and angry all the time that it feels forced? She's a bit like that. He's super likable. I think you kind of respect where he's come from and that he has reservations for going back there, but immediately seems to be like, oh, there could be another story here.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, there isn't. Let's just go.
Yeah.
Because when you brought up the example of Naughty Dog and The Last of Us, yeah, one thing that really stuck with me in that, with a character, even these characters that were doing bad things or that weren't great people or that had difficult things they were going through, like there's an attachment you have, and that comes through voice acting and great, motion cap and great writing as well. But even if they're like, to have that string of attachment to those characters, it just makes everything else so much more powerful. And I worry with games like this that I've seen that I just don't really ever find a connection point with those characters that feels emotional enough that I care about those stories in the same way. But that was from Of Life is Strange. I didn't really find that connection.
I felt connected to the characters in Life is Strange. I feel like there was a lot going on there. There was a dynamic between the two of them that told a really nice story, I think. And I really haven't spent enough time with these two to really get that same thing. It's also just, they haven't seen each other for 10 years, so it feels stilted now, but you're very much grounded. The story is very much grounded in, like, this is the experience, the closest they had as children, and now they're coming back together to, like, explore this trauma.
It's a fascinating premise, for a story.
And I do think that the characters just aren't fleshed out enough for them to be interesting in that way where you're like, they're just like nice, likable. It's like they don't have the depth of character to be able to work their way through being annoying but also relatable or whatever. So yeah.
I'm keen to see how the rest of them play out and for you guys to tell us about them.
Yeah. What about you, Gussie?
Oh, I have been playing Windbound. Which is, I've been looking forward to for a while, actually. It's by an Australian developer, and it is a survival game that has a stunning watercolor palette to it, and that is in the vein, it's been many similarities been noted between it and something like Breath of the Wild. It is a survival game where you move between islands in archipelagos that are procedurally generated. The idea is you build a boat, and you basically play a character who's been separated from her flotilla and has to reactivate these shrines and move your way through the islands, progressing as you go. As I said, really looking forward to it because the premise of it sounded lovely, and the crafting looks wonderful. As I said, watch the first trailer and just went Breath of the Wild.
You can't not see Breath of the Wild.
There's no way
Every mechanic is happening here. But
and the thing I was most looking forward to was the sailing mechanic and the crafting of the boat. It turns out it is, a lot of reviews have been coming out and saying, which I agree with, it's quite clunky. It's a small development team, and so I think they've been very ambitious with what they've set out to do here. And so mainly the combat and the survival mechanics attached to the stamina are quite, as I said, feel very old school. And in that sense, it makes the game a bit more difficult to play than I expected. That said, I'm really enjoying where I've started. But
does it bother you that this is like similar to Breath of the Wild. People in saying in the chat, I have no problem with them making Breath of the Wild clones. Like,
No.
when a game like
Yeah.
this gets made, you're like, I loved this other game, and this game is very similar to that. So I feel like I get more of that game.
100%, which is why I've been so keen to play this.
We're
And the
totally
idea
cool with Dark Souls clones, so why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Breath of the Wild
And then
clones?
to take it and to attach it to something like Wind Waker and say, look, you're going to be moving between islands. I was like, great idea, really lovely idea. And I actually really love survival games, the particular ones that don't give you a heap of instruction, that let you kind of learn by failing. And that's a big part of this so far from what I've experienced. I'll skip ahead a bit. But basically, yeah, you're left to discover what you can craft together fairly basically and put a boat together and move on from there. As I said, the game has two modes that you can begin as, a survival mode and a story mode. And the developers say it's suggested to play it as the survival mode. That way you go back to chapter 1 when you die.
Yeah.
It's permadeath.
Wow.
And you only keep what you're holding on you, not what's in your bag. Now that is something I love permadeath. It instantly made the first few hours of me playing it, I was very careful. I was sussing everything out slowly. I was trying not to make any mistakes as I went around. Unfortunately, that aforementioned combat is really unforgiving. It's very clunky. There's a very awkward lock-on system.
Right, okay.
Enemies have strange attack patterns. It feels very undercooked in the combat, and it's really penalizing for hits versus
you feel a
how-
bit cheated in
you
some
feel
of those losses.
you can feel they're just regular enemies. They're like a pig in the grass. Will hit you for half your health, and
Pig
then
in the grass.
you need to do all these steps to gain your health back. And again, looks really good. Watching someone play through it, but the feeling of it,
Oh my God.
is
I love it.
Yeah, is not what I was expecting. That said, when I got on the boat and I finally had enough to put a sail on, and I used the wind to actually move across this really beautiful. I'll see if I can find any footage up ahead of actually on the boat. The sailing itself, while not perfect, is there's just canoeing. The water has a lot of movement to it. You move up and down on the water. The wind actually carries you around. You have to tack into the wind. That's a sailing term. And it's basically, it feels challenging. And you
No
can
tacking going on in this canoe.
No, not yet. You can tip it. You need to support it with like extra pontoons on the side. So the boat design really, really excites me. But
Sith Cat in the chat, who is a sailor, says that the sailing is excellent.
it is really, really lovely. It seems like they put a lot more effort into that. But again, from what I've heard, not much of a story so much as just it's a survival game where you just have to activate some beacons to get to a gate to move between, I think it's 4 chapters. So it's not particularly long, and it's one of those games that you make as much enjoyment out of it as you feel necessary.
I would say just from what I've seen of it, and like, yes, Breath of the Wild written all over it, but I've played a lot of survival games, and the thing that I always find turns me off them is jumping in there, and they, this is a blanket statement, but all survival games are the same. It's like mine
Yep.
whatever you need to get the mats to make the house.
Yeah.
The fact that the house is a boat in this is heaps exciting. Like, because you immediately spawn on an island, you immediately have a goal, and finding the right goal is always the thing in a survival game that makes or breaks it. Like,
Yeah, totally. And how
it's-
quickly you find that goal.
Yeah.
and like it's just in front of your face. It's like there's a vast ocean, so it's like go and make your ship.
But also, it doesn't need many of these, but it's got enough of those processes that when you break it down, they just catch you not moving your character for a second, having a think, and going, I need leather, so I need a tanning rack, so I'll need a fire made of sticks, and it just, I love those little moments where you go,
wild boar, what?
And then you're like, what was I doing? Like those.
He lights the fire.
Yeah, exactly. But as I said, that's sometimes to get a piece of food to keep your health up, and then you take a wonky hit from a bad fight, and you're like, I've died twice very early on, and been like, okay, I'm going to stick with the survival mode, but I think if I do, I'm not going to finish the game or enjoy it anywhere near as much as I probably could, because I'm quite forgiving with these games, and if I get a cheap death, which I've had from falling off a rock not very high, and being like,
that
oh,
sucks.
fuck off. That was not that much health for how far I fell.
Yeah.
Back to chapter 1, I was like,
I want video game falls, not real life falls.
so yeah, I'm definitely going to keep playing it, and I specifically got it on Switch to play in bed as like a nice little
End of day, wind
Yeah,
down.
Title again? Windbound.
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 Yeah,
a pirate's face.
5x5, I think, are the developers in Melbourne.
Oh, cool.
I
Yeah.
thought
So,
5x5 were Brizzy.
oh, sorry, they are. You're right. My mistake. Yeah, they're Brizzy-based developers, and yeah,
Different South Bank.
correct.
That's some nerdy geographical.
It really is.
My question with the permadeath thing, My favorite game in the last couple of years was The Outer Wilds.
Yep.
And the thing about that was you kept dying, but when you died, you gained knowledge that even though nothing in the game changed, like every time you die, the entire game world resets. The knowledge you gained allows you to navigate that world better next time.
kinda
So
like
you
a-
never have anything else other than you, or the only thing you get is more knowledge.
It's kind of like a narrative roguelike.
Yes, yeah. And is part of that that like if you die an hour in, is there some way that you can get to where you were faster?
Doesn't
because
look like
now-
it. No, and that is a real worry.
It is just hardcore.
It is that. And because of that, I think they've also really, that's an excuse not to have a really in-depth story. At this point, it does look like you climb to 3 beacons, you gain 3 icon things, and you open a gate and do a bit of a boss run. You do that 3 times. And the islands will get more difficult. They'll have different enemy types. I don't hate that they haven't gone, let's fill it with the story. There's, some cave paintings you can sort of decipher. But I think that comes as part of that mechanic. It's them going, you don't want to rewatch the cutscene or re-talk to these characters or anything like that because it is just a question of
totally.
redo what you've done.
Yeah, right.
The knowledge of what you can do, there's a little bit of that, but that's in
But it's not like
no.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I feel like this one maybe isn't for me. I'll enjoy watching this stuff. But
I'm gonna persist, but I feel like it to my own detriment.
before you get to your next
That
game,
sounds-
TT subscribe. Thank you very much for the subscription, TT. I hope you use your free Prime subscription like the rest of you, and you should give us your free Prime. If you're giving it to someone else, take it away from them because they don't deserve it, and we do because we need to feed this dog, which is down here. I promise you, there is a dog here.
Yep, she is there.
There you go.
This dog needs food.
Hey, Scotty.
Do you know what this dog
Come here.
eats? Do you know
Come
what this
here.
dog eats?
What?
Come here.
Patron subscribers.
Patrons.
Amazon receipts. I don't know, right? Something to do with Twitch subprimes. Twitch Prime subs.
That's the
What
spot.
And then I guess
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the
What a
spot.
sweet, lovely.
What a poser.
I thought they were talking about the game.
So was I. I was like, wow, they really love that paddle.
And while I've got the conch, I might just quickly mention that I've been playing.
I thought you were still referencing the game when you said "while I've got the conch," but you were referencing
I
Poor Little
appreciate
Pig.
it.
Hey, who's this?
I have been playing a fair bit of the new Tony Hawk, the new old Tony Hawk 1 and 2, which comes out tomorrow. And it is a remaster, I guess, is the best way to put it.
Get some.
Yeah, let's get some of that grind going. The Marseille competition. I have been playing... Oh my god, stop going to me.
This game.
That was the game.
Do a flip.
It is.
Pick
Pick
up a videotape.
Another menu again. So this
It's fine, just let it play.
I will. This is a remaster that comes out tomorrow. It is all of 1 and 2 done with
Oh
a
no,
nice...
skip this bit. This is boring.
I know. With a nice coat of paint. And it feels very much like the old game that I used to play on PlayStation. I love Tony Hawk games, but look,
Oh, careful.
here we go.
Oh.
No.
Big face on
This
this.
has
motherfucker. Yeah.
this has reawoken a style of playing a game that I thought I'd long forgotten.
Fun.
Well, look, it's 1 part fun.
Yep.
It's 1 part like almost sort of like epileptic speed, sort of controls, pausing, hitting reset, rerunning, making mistakes, getting angry at myself, but quickly alleviating that by going for another quick run, making the same mistakes I've been making for years. And yeah, it's such a strange way to play a video game now. It's like, especially after playing the skate games and having this fast, slower, more methodical way of skateboarding.
As a genre, this genre has evolved a lot, and you're struggling to go back to this older style of
It's
play.
not that I'm struggling. I can go back and play the exact same way I used to play. Whether or not I get that same level of enjoyment, I'm not entirely sure. It's
So isn't this similar to something like Trials, where you just keep trying the same thing over again until you nail it? Or
Trials is really physicsy. Like the joy of
Yeah.
Trials is learning the physicsness of it. Where I would say Tony Hawk is like there's not too much. You learn the moves, but you don't need to necessarily master a way of like balance that's particularly difficult.
no.
then what's the feeling that you're describing that is like?
It's like it's an anxiety of how I used to play games like this. It's very arcadey, very quick, twitchy, sort of. Yeah,
But it's more. I think that's more in the game design than the game mechanic. Like the game design is one that's like it forces you to get a perfect run. It forces you to hit SKATE in a single run. It forces you to collect the videotapes in a single run. So it's like the reason you reset all the time is because it was quick to reset even on like old consoles.
Yeah,
Totally.
which is what I'm redoing in this even faster now. So,
so it's like I've got to get the perfect run. And
No, see, this is the thing. I disagree because it's not about me getting the perfect run.
Yeah, right.
It's just like it's there as a thing for me to change up. Like it's an added thing I can do, which I would not do in regular games.
Can I propose what I think it is?
Sure.
Because I know this feeling you're talking about. I reckon it's the environments that you're in as a skate game, because you're not playing against other people and they're not linear levels. You're in this sort of like skate
Playground.
park, basically.
Yeah.
Is that you have to constantly be making split-second decisions about, am I going to grind this rail, or am I going to jump this thing, or am I going to try and like kickflip over here? And so you're always near two potential things that you could do a trick on, that you need to make a decision about what you're going to do. And then also you can change your mind halfway through and go, oh, actually, no, that was the wrong decision. And then when you wipe out, then that ticking clock is there, and it's like, oh, I need to get up and get to the closest thing I can start doing a trick on again. Because the whole game is just, you have to be doing a trick now. And if you're not doing a trick, you're wasting your valuable time. And it's like, I could do a fucking trick on everything here. And so therefore, I can't do a trick on anything. I'm just going to turn tricks.
It's like there's the table or there's the rail, and what do? I just go straight between the two of them going,
Sorry about your ears,
So it's
ladies
that
and gentlemen.
plus the ability to go, fuck it, reset it, start again. It's doing
funny.
that. It's also, you're right, the speed of this game, I don't remember it being this fast, whether or not this is just me being old now. It's like, it's the speed you move through this level without a plan going, jump, grind, hit that.
It's like faster than any skater could ever move ever.
Seriously.
And it's also like when you jump, you go up in the air, you do a trick, and then like you get magnetized back to the ground and continue on at exactly the same speed.
Such a good point, though. That it is mentally exhausting having to make that many decisions.
It's decision paralysis.
It
in
is.
an open world environment.
Yeah.
Because it's like you have almost too many options that you have to kind of filter through your brain really quickly. And most games are, presenting you with more linear options.
I also feel like this game, even when they first came out, they were at that time kind of a legacy of the arcade game era.
True.
They were hard. They were just about numbers on screen. Like in a time where games were becoming more than just like Pac-Man. Obviously Pac-Man was way earlier than like the PlayStation 1 and 64 and stuff. But it was like in a time that was happening, there was like this game was still felt like a game from an old era. It just felt like an arcadey delight.
I don't know. I think maybe the later ones, but the first one when it came out, like, I don't think it felt as arcadey because it was kind of revolutionary in terms of making an extreme sports game that had through by sort of just design, came up with a timer and a score chaser and all that stuff that then, you're right, does kind of...
But that's like, I mean, it doesn't need a timer and a score chaser to be an effective...
But it was strange that when it came out, it's like, I couldn't have seen it being any other game, like, because you're right, that's all that really existed at that point. So it was this very arcadey, very quick score chasey kind of game, and I wouldn't have thought like a free roaming skate game, like that just wouldn't have existed in my brain back in whatever year.
I mean,
the first one
my
came out.
child mind, I feel like enjoyed like Wasteland or whatever it was, American Wasteland.
Yeah, right.
They had like
This
it was
is
a
where
hub
he's
world.
This is where I do feel there's an age gap because I'm like Wasteland I was ready to be done with the Tony Hawk series.
Yeah, I mean, I think the world was by that point. Obviously, I didn't play 1, but I played 2 a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, either way, it scratched the nostalgia itch, which I very much enjoyed, and but then it got too itchy. It's good fun, and I'm gonna play a bit more of it, I think. But I'm gonna see if there's a slow-mo mode or something.
Matty G doesn't want that. He says, I'm looking forward to seeing the speedrunning community get their hands on this. And and also it looks
Underground.
very good.
Underground was it? Not American Wasteland was that after Underground?
I don't remember by that
But
stage.
Underground was gold. Yeah.
But there was a really lovely feeling of picking this up,
Dolphin
doing Warehouse at the beginning, and instantly doing like a couple of perfect runs and doing everything. On my first one, I think I unlocked skate, the tape, hit all the boxes, got all the high scores, all of that. I haven't played this game for years, and it just all came back.
Like,
and so
I am
that was a
Tony
nice
Hawk.
feeling. Yeah.
And how's that dope soundtrack?
They've added so many new songs that I would almost say to its detriment. It's really hard to find Superman by that one Scar song that I really liked.
Yeah.
Goldfinger, Superman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which was like the song of that game.
Correct.
I think they tied into the marketing and stuff as well. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's good fun.
I'm excited for that. So I've got one quick one and one long one. We'll do the quick one first.
Sure.
Madden NFL 21. I know none of you care about this. I'm going to just take 30 seconds on this and just go, all right, it's a new Madden. It's kind of shocking how Madden refused to iterate on their game for years and years and years. And the most annoying part about this is that the way that I play a new Madden each year is that I actually go into, I never spend a penny, but I go into the Madden Ultimate Team, the MUT, which is the sort of meat of the game, or it's the longevity of the game that EA, that's where they make all their cash. And there are a bunch of like, you make a team, but in order to get that team, you need to get cards of those players. And to do that, you get, I sat through so much fucking Windbound. You have no idea. Halo 3? What the fuck? At least my game has a current audience.
Can I just go to the next one?
I'm very interested.
The next trailer. No, just very quick. No,
sorry,
what?
please,
Okay. I'll just
was-
leave
it
if
was-
my.
I actually
sorry.
wanted to hear the end of the Muds bit.
So the only thing I'll say about this is that like you should be happy about this because this is a criticism of Madden of like its refusal to evolve. So when you go into the Madden Ultimate Team, you can do all these challenges, and it's like, ensure that the offense get less than 30 yards in the drive. And so it's like that's how you level up to get new cards and new players and stuff. To get into that, you need to load into a menu, into an incredibly insane amount of menus to go through that. You then go through a like 30-second load screen to get to a section of a match that takes you maybe like 30 seconds to 2 minutes to play, and then another 30-second load screen, and then a bunch of menus, and then a 30-second. And it's like the fact that we are in 2020 and this game is still playing in that same way where it doesn't, because they're so obsessed with making money that it constantly has to be pinging back home on the server, that you cannot do anything in this game quickly and without multiple menus and holding screens. And it's so annoying. It sucks so much because the gameplay is actually really fun. They haven't really changed anything with this one, but like it's fun to play Madden. It's just so shit to be getting to play Madden.
So they've found a way in their game, or inadvertently found a way to make the game menu system as disruptive as the real game is when you go to watch it. And
Game
it's
menu system is the ads.
It's the ads, it's the stoppage, it's the stoppage time,
Yeah.
it's the everything in between those quick moments of play where you're like,
Yeah.
that was really entertaining. Now let's hear from Budweiser.
I mean, that's a super good point. I had not thought about that, and that is so true.
It's immersive, is what it is.
Yeah. I might
reality
surprise you here,
experience.
Nick. Sorry. I might surprise you here, Nick. Madden, I like.
Yep.
I think Gridiron is a shit game in real life. Like it's the worst version of football, but it works really well as a video game because of all the stoppage between plays,
It's
and it's a really
tactics
interesting
game.
strategy game.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it feels arcadey in that like it stops and gives you another turn. You pick a little from a menu, you pick your
Chalkboard.
play, and then you play your play.
Which
and
circle's going to hit that?
I've always liked Madden as a video game. I think it's heaps cool.
It's the approachability of it, and if Nick's saying like this sort of level of UI and
It's just
breakdown
insane
of
that
how
it's
it
still
all
like
is.
this. It's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah. My experience with Madden is that I'll play one every 10 years, but like I'll enjoy it when I play it and like that it exists for people who like NFL. But the FUT and the MUT
Yep.
and all the UTs
Yep.
that EA put into their games to just like, I mean, it's your fantasy football league shit. I hate it all.
Yeah.
And like because it makes them more money than just selling X amount of units every year. It's the most important part of the game to them, and therefore is just disruptive to the experience of just playing a game of NFL. Which, like, and I know you're actually interested in the MUT stuff. I have no interest in it, but if they're fucking that up, then like.
But it's amazing that it is the breadwinner of the game, and it is the worst part of the game to experience.
Yeah.
Because it's like to get through anything just takes forever, and it's like how dedicated is your audience that you are making billions of dollars?
I was going to say, it takes a lot of dedication from their fan base,
Totally.
and they have that, but yeah, it's still
Yeah,
frustrating.
look, the last thing I'll say is that thank you for fighting your way through MUT and pouring money into EA so that they can put that money back into Respawn to give us new Titanfall games.
You're welcome. No, but I will say I definitely want more Titanfall games, but I've never spent a penny in MUT. I only play the challenges to get the free coins. I do free to play.
Yep.
But that is why it's so frustrating, because it's like I have to live in those menus for fucking like.
They make it deliberately frustrating. If you pay.
No. Don't you dare give them a pass. They are terrible at making video games.
Okay, right.
Like this is not some.
But I thought it was like sometimes they make things like a slog to get through because they're like, want to make this easier? Give us your sweet cash.
Give us that. Chuck open that Wally. No, even if I chucked open the Wally, it would take me 45 minutes to get through the menus to just buy
fair.
that shit.
Okay.
So no good. Okay, so then the game that I've been loving this week, and I really think that you might think it's boring, but actually it could be my favorite thing that's come out in a while. Crusader Kings 3.
Oh.
So, and you, Stephanie Ben-Dixon, I actually feel
And all
like
3 cameras.
this could be a game for you. So,
Nice. Oh, I'm listening.
ladies and gentlemen, to all 1,016 of you watching right now, Lemon Llama, particularly you, Bear Man, yes, and thank you for your sub earlier. People are so excited about this fucking game. Let me tell you about the fuckwit that is Baron Muiredach. So, I have...
He's going to tell. He's going to tell. He's going to
I have my realm in my kingdom, my duchy. Below me in Desmond, Baron fucking Muiredach had been a thorn in my side for so long. And I was like, I'm not putting up with this anymore. I'm not putting up with your aggression. I'm not putting up with your insolence. I'm taking your duchy. I'm going in and I'm removing you from power. I attack, I take it, I win, fantastic. Baron is now on my council. He is on my side. This is where the fucking drama starts. So this asshole spends all of his time complaining that I kidnapped his daughter. So I'm like, fine, you give me a bit of money.
Wait, did you kidnap his daughter?
Yes, I did. But how is he supposed to learn, Steph? So I go, okay, well, you give me some gold and I'll give you your daughter back. He whines about that. He then whines that he's like, you took my entire realm and all my family and all my people. I want at least a place in your high council. So I need to fire someone on my high council. People who have been by my side for years who helped me get Baron off the throne in the first place. So I'm like, all right, fine, I'll fire the mayor. So I fire the mayor. I put him on the council. It's not good enough for him. He continues to play. So he's complaining, and I go, you know what? I need to murder this
What
motherfucker.
genre of game is
Wait, I'm going to get to it.
Is there a gameplay trailer?
I'm going to get to
I
it.
don't think so.
Okay.
I'm like, I need to murder this guy. So
Cute.
I decide that I'm going to murder him. The problem is that I don't have a high enough intrigue, stealth, sort of like spy, whatever. Espionage thing to be able to pull off a murder that I can also cover up correctly. And I go, well, the way I'm going to do this is not by moving into the murder path, because I've been a very pious man. So I am a pious, religious
Pious
figure.
child kidnapper.
Yes. So I am a very religious figure. So I'm like, well, I can't waste all the time I've spent building up into religion. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to divorce my wife and marry a nefarious woman who will up my spycraft. The only problem is I'm Catholic and they don't allow for divorces.
Oh, no.
So I decided to leave Catholicism. No, I didn't want to do that because I love it too much.
Okay.
I decided to leave Catholicism and found my own religion,
Found your own religion.
which allows for polyamory. And so because I am a pious man,
Of the new Church of Nick.
I had enough piety to be able to found a new religion. So I found this religion. It takes a long time to really get hold and begin, but finally I get enough people behind it. I've got this religion going. I'm like, yes, I could divorce I could get the second wife. I find the second woman. The previous one had died from an illness, so I found another one that was like good enough with the treachery score.
Wait, did you need the new? If your previous wife died and she
No. The previous one that I wanted to marry, not the previous wife.
Oh, the nefarious woman.
Yes. So I had to find the second nefarious woman. So I bring the
OG wife is still going strong.
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
So OG wife, like she's there, she's supportive of this. OG wife.
Why?
OG wife, the Petty Queen Metzima of Lopez. She was described as calm,
heard about
gregarious, a fortune builder, and quick-witted. And if when you mouse over her portrait, she is a dishonorable planner, which I very much liked. So I end up founding this religion. I find the second nefarious woman. I marry her. My espionage score goes up high enough that I'm like, I can probably get away with this murder. The day before I murder fucking Baron Muiredach, I die in my sleep.
Why?
Welcome to Crusader Kings 3.
How do you die in your sleep? The plague?
Because I'm just
Nefarious women in your bedroom?
Nefarious woman that you married.
No, because this took so fucking long that I was 90 and I ended up dying from old age. So this is why this game is so fucking excellent. So for those of you who don't know, and I was one of you before I started playing this, that Crusader Kings 3 is like a tactics strategy, like
Is it an RTS?
It's Oregon Trail.
kind of, yeah.
That's
So yeah,
so
it's more that.
funny.
So I was like, why do I like this?
Confused face.
No, I'm just
good.
like,
Like, so
So
think
it's-
Civ and think Civ
about to say,
meets like Troy Total War or something.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. So I'm getting, sort of top down,
yes,
moving stuff around.
very much so.
Yeah, okay.
The difference with this, and the thing that I think makes this so special, is that those games, and you know, most video games take real life concepts and abstract them. So if I'm playing an RPG and I get plus 10% strength, I just click the thing and it suddenly goes up, and it's abstracted the idea of going to the gym for a year and like actually building myself. I don't need to do that in the game. I just hit the button and it happens. And those sort of grand strategy games, I hear people who play those tell these stories like the story that I told, right? And they're like, so I wanted to do this and this happened, and intrigue and drama and whatever. And then when I play that game, I'm like, oh no, this is literally like I clicked on my army and
spreadsheet.
clicked on that army, and that happened. And these people who are all like D&D,
I was going to say they're all
Gamers.
theater of the mind,
Theatre of the
extrapolating
mind.
the story out and being like, oh, it felt like this, but whereas for you, it was like, I clicked some buttons, I raised some stats.
so Crusader Kings 3, which, do we have any gameplay of this?
There was none.
Oh, okay. I thought I
correctly.
put some in there, but it's...
can have a quick squeeze if you
Maybe
got it.
maybe have a quick look.
Yeah.
Crusader Kings 3 does the opposite of this. So it takes the grand strategy games and the idea that like, oh, you're living in ancient times and you're going to like have wars and blah, 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 but layers on human interaction. So the whole game is about relationships that you build, people you marry, kids that you have, deceit that you run, like people you make angry, people you bribe, and all of those mechanics that in these games are normally like declare war on this person and like plus 10 to spearman health. This is all a game entirely about like, this is how these relationships work. And so you play as the...
My
like,
God, that looks so much more boring than what you described.
No, totally. But because it has so much human interaction
Yeah,
in this,
yeah.
it's actually filled with this stuff. And everything that I said was things that were like written out for me that like I read and happened. It's not like I needed to imagine this happening. And then you play as a ruler who forms a lineage, and when your ruler dies, your heir takes over and just continues the kingdom. So you just continue down this lineage for potentially thousands of years as you establish your family and your rule and your story. And it is so dense with potential and so dense with story. And the whole time I'm sitting there playing it going, I think that there is at least a 50% chance that Steph adores this if she can push past the thing that I had to push past, which was like all of the just like menus and screens. And
Well, yeah, I mean, it depends. Like, I got really into Civ 6.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
to the point
was
where I
bad.
had to, like, super uninstall.
Yeah, it was like 5 a.m.
Then I
crawling into bed.
Yeah.
I want to know
There
what
was-
super uninstalling is.
I really think
It's like a rage quit uninstall.
Okay, right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
just, there were a couple of nights where I came into bed at 4 o'clock in the morning and Peter was like, were you playing Civ the whole time? And I'm like, I don't want to talk about it.
I think
Gandhi's a dick.
it is entirely about like that sort of secret romance thing that we were talking about a couple of weeks ago with like Pride and Prejudice. It's entirely about like betraying people and
Yeah.
forming alliances and beautiful, like very nice writing, very funny. I think it's a gorgeous looking game in terms of what it's trying to do, like the maps and the
Voice
all
acting?
the no.
Is there
I think there's murmurs, but not.
is there a multiplayer element? Can I play against you and steal your daughter?
I'm not
and
sure,
hold
to
her
be honest.
ransom?
I will look it up because this is the first
I
time
be
I've ever
Nefarious
played
wife?
something like this. But it is like on the drive.
says
to the
yes.
studio- there you go. On the drive to the studio, I was like, I want to turn around and go home and
Yeah,
play
right.
this. And the you do have to push through. Like the tutorial is really good and teaches you a lot. It dumps a ton on you, and then at the end of the tutorial, it's like, congratulations, you've now experienced what it's like to make it through an essential part of this game. From now on, we'll stop the tutorial lessons, but there will still be advice. Blah blah blah. And at the end of it says, thank you for staying with us and good luck. And it's like even the game knows that this is the turn off
That
point.
was
If you make it
smart.
through the tutorial,
But it's
you're
like
in.
it's like any time, like all the best tabletop board games have a slog period that you have to get through.
Yeah.
And you know the payoff is going to be great because you're like, I've heard so many great things about this game.
Yep.
But it's just like you can see everyone's eyes glazing over as
Everyone
you go.
pours a full glass of wine, and
However,
it's like, all right.
Yeah.
in the instance of the first player achieving the win in the first round, people are like,
The arbitrator will only take hold of the cards unless it's like, oh.
But it's just like, it's so lovely in the way that it takes so much of the things that happened in history, and then you get to affect them and completely push them off in different directions. But like, if you don't have a clear line of lineage,
Did you not have? That was my next question. Did you not have an heir?
So no, I did have an heir. So the heir took. So then that's the other. The heir took over, but because my line of lineage was not particularly clear, the whatever it was, like whatever lineage thing I'm in.
is that because you had so many wives?
Well, it's because I had so many kids, but I had so many daughters, and the lineage is supposed to go to the
Lowly
oldest
women.
son.
Yeah.
But the oldest son, when I died, was only like 10, and so therefore, everyone who I previously thought were friends saw him as weak and just like land rushed all of my like duchies and realms. And so they were like, we're going to take it all. And all my daughters were getting angry because they're like, fuck you, this should be ours. Blah, blah. Like, and it's just like, there's so much fun in that, in this like chaotic bullshit that unlike Civ, when it ends and there's that underwhelming end of just like, congratulations, you achieved a tech victory.
Apparently there's an issue with Australian classification, so it's not on Steam yet.
So the one thing, and we spoke about this in the somewhat daily backup, that you can't buy it at the moment on Steam, but you can get it on Game Pass. You can't get it on Game Pass by searching on Game Pass. I got it by installing it via the Game Pass app on my phone to remote install to my PC, and it was just sitting there like Crusader Kings was there, and I hit install and it installs on my PC. Or if you search on Game Pass, it will come up with the expansion pack and not the game. If you click on that, it'll say on that menu somewhere, requires
the game.
Crusader Kings 3. You click that link, and then it takes you to Crusader Kings 3, which you can then install.
So like you can get this game if you really, really want to look for it.
Even the fucking installing of the game is an intrigue.
I was going to say, if you can find that add-on and you marry that off to the first one of the DLC, then you're in luck.
Can I just?
Event, however,
I noticed Contrasted pointed out.
Yep.
Contrasted in the chat pointed out that just brought up the fact that you said you were 90 when you died, and your eldest son.
Oh, I was fucking
10.
at 80. Don't you worry about that. Don't you worry about that at all.
You bore your only son at 80.
Yeah, because I married the deceitful woman at 80. So it was like, she was like,
That child is not yours. The deceitful woman.
I love the
deceived
idea of
you.
a 90.
maybe that's why they all smelled blood.
I love the idea of you as a 90-year-old hornbag getting around with a knife and a cloak and dagger to old mate, what is it, Muiredach or something.
My duck.
And like in your bedrobe, just standing over him going, "Rah!" and just carting it quietly.
That's so funny. But yeah, it is. I am so excited about playing
Yeah,
more of this
right.
game. I was just like, oh my God, all the things that people talk about, and I feel so jealous of the stories that you tell when you play Total War. I can now have these stories because this is the actual story of this game.
that's awesome.
Well, considering it's on Game Pass, yeah, this is the kind of game that I would look at and immediately kind of think, it's not really my bag. But like with the story like that, I don't think there's a way I can not at least try that
it a crack.
tutorial.
Totally. And chat are very excited. They were like, stream it. Everyone's very excited.
Also, I'd love you to keep playing it just so we could turn this into a segment where it's like the saga of King.
Oh, totally.
Yeah,
He's already dead.
And
Next King.
He shall rise again.
it's so true. And like you can play as a Maharaja in India, or you can
wow.
play like you could be Welsh. You could be anywhere in the
that.
world. So,
Yeah.
It's just very
The best part about the medieval period was that it was a shit time for everyone all around the world.
exactly.
Apart from those ones right at the top, and even then it wasn't that great. They were all still dying of dysentery and knives in the back.
So yeah, and then
Vikings did okay, I think, mostly
Viking-
because they raped and pillaged everyone else.
yeah. There was like a strongest survive sort of situation with them
Yeah.
as well. Yeah. Until of course they didn't. All right, so that's what we've been playing. Wow. Oh, that was
Solid.
it was a good week.
Yeah.
It was a good week for games. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We almost need, I haven't thought this through, so it's a bad time to bring it up,
Yep.
especially being live, but
Yep.
maybe at the end of this episode,
I am.
or next one when we have time to think it out, we could be like, what are we going to play next week? Because that's what I'm always trying to work out for next week.
I don't work that out until it's installed on my computer.
No, fair enough, but this could be
I've
something
got
that, like-
I've got a list that I can give you. Yeah.
All right.
Let's
We'll work on that.
at the end of the show.
right.
Okay. Cool. So and everyone, if you want to see more, or if you want to see Crusader Kings 3, let me know because it is just All right. It's time to move on now to a discussion topic, because I feel like we haven't done that enough. Let's have a talk back.
All right, well, give us a moment.
It's just the jump on it. The really quick.
There we go.
Oh, look at this. Back Pocket Talk Back, presented by Slowpunk, brought to you by Slowpunk. If you want to get punked and you're sick of being punked fast, it's time to call Slowpunk. He's the slowest punk in the business. He'll punk you tenderly, lovely, and Gus, with respect. Slowpunk, slow and steady, punk's the best. It's exactly the same as it was last time, but
But you
can't
remembered
improve on
it.
It's so
perfection.
good.
Yeah.
Time.
All right, so these talkbacks are questions that come in from you guys on our Discord in the show feedback channel. How do you get access to the Discord, Stephanie?
You have to become a patron at patreon.com.
That's- yeah.
/backpocket. There's lots of different tiers you can subscribe to, depending on your budget, the kinds of rewards you want to get. You can get art made for you. You can get an ad made for you. You can be part of the Discord. There's all kinds of great perks.
For $1,000, you can get punked.
Has he agreed to that yet?
He will.
We sent the email.
Super fan. We made him a logo. He owes.
He's thirsty for a pumpkin.
He
I
is
believe.
thirsty for a pumpkin.
I believe.
All right, I hope he's watching.
Save it for
Slow
the,
punk, you in the chat. Okay, so the first question comes in from Argon, one of the wonderful mods.
Give me some footage,
well.
Give me a title.
Do we
not yet.
expect too much from
It's
games
only on the
these
footage.
days? Do we expect too much from games these days? It feels like we're spoiled with some amazing stuff over recent years, but lately I see people making comparisons that are frankly unfair. For example, two criticisms I've heard from the Avengers are the graphics aren't as good as The Last of Us 2, and the combat doesn't feel as good as God of War. Even though those two games are literally the best in class in those respective areas. What do we think? Stephanie?
I think, there's a lot of talk about with like the next sort of series of like graphics cards coming out. People are talking about ray tracing and everything. So I feel like next gen consoles have to have a really great handle of lighting.
What are you talking about? Sorry, yeah.
No, this is, yeah.
Yeah?
Go on, sorry.
No, you go ahead. But he thinks that you
I
maybe
think you may
jump
be
to
talking
the
about
next
the
question.
second question because it's specifically about next gen.
But it's similar.
But it is similar.
Yes, but it's similar.
Sorry. Yeah.
I just mean
Sorry,
like
my bad.
games. I want them to have like a really like good sense of like lighting, great graphical fidelity, and I feel like I don't want to encounter any loading.
Yeah,
So
right.
I
Oh,
feel-
so this is what you expect. This is like now what you expect from games.
Yes,
Yeah.
I don't want to ever feel like the game is slowing me down at any point. I don't want to have to shimmy through any kind of tight spaces. I feel like the whole experience should be really seamless, and I think it should be really well lit.
Okay. I would say that you expect too much from games.
Yeah, me too.
I don't want to shimmy through anything.
Nah.
No?
But you're saying you expect them to progress technically, but in terms of what's there mechanically and like the question was saying in terms of like someone saying I don't think the combat was as what was it? The graphics
It was
aren't as
like
pretty.
graphics aren't as good as Last of Us 2 and the combat isn't as good as God of War. So like it's like the two arguably greatest games of the generation being applied to as like the standard that you then set every game against.
Sure, but I feel like if there's like almost a decade between like console generations, like next gen games, I am expecting a lot. Otherwise, it's like, why are we buying new consoles? Like, why are we getting this? Like, we want it to feel like a significant shift. I think it's good to have high expectations for games.
Yeah, right.
Obviously, they're going to kind of progress through that console generation from like medium good to epic great. But like, I still think that it's good to have high expectations for like visual fidelity and gameplay and things.
Yeah,
like
right. Gussie?
Look, I would say to use an example of what I've been playing recently, and that being Windbound that I mentioned before, I would say that we expect too much in terms of what a game needs to provide for us to be entertained. And by that, I mean, I think we're getting to a point with something like a Marvel Avengers where we're just trying to cram so many different styles of game into something to alleviate the idea of it being, great, like the minute-to-minute gameplay, but also I want it to be a multiplayer experience, but also I want it to have a really great story, but also I want this and that. Whereas, like, what I'm playing with Windbound at the moment is a game that's not really giving me much, and I'm having to do a lot more of the work. And I'm really enjoying that, and I think we're missing a bit more of that these days. I think we're missing minimalism in both design and also...
Windbound here, like
Windbound has stepped up a little bit. Look, and so in that case, I find myself really being drawn to experiences that don't provide everything. They're not a jack of all trade and master of none. They are a game that focuses on something it does really well. And I feel like the larger point of having high expectations means we just want too many things in our game, and that's when I feel like they can get muddled. I would say God of War is an example of a game that I really wanted to finish and love, but I actually got really over all the RPG elements in it. I really wanted just a tight action game with a great story, and then it just had this extra chunk to it that I didn't really click with, but I know some people did.
That's fair. I feel like it's a genre thing though, right? Like I don't think you should expect huge amounts of things from a game outside of the genre that it's kind of pitching itself in.
Yeah.
Because then otherwise you're kind of making like the statements that Slowpunk said, like, talking about Last of Us 2 and Avengers and stuff like that.
Argon, but yes, Slowpunk
Argon,
just
sorry.
wants to punk everybody.
It wants to punk everybody.
Yeah.
That Argon suggested, I feel like, those are unrealistic expectations, pitching those two genres of game next to each other.
Yeah.
It's like when you are looking at a big open world game and you're expecting a certain graphical fidelity that you would get from like a smaller linear, they're kind of not genres that are comparable. But I think that within genres, you can have high expectations for what it should deliver. I think that's a valid point, though, that this was like an action RPG and you feel like it was too much RPG.
They'd put this extra kind of crafting and upgrading. I know that have been elements of that in God of War, but I didn't like the way they added. It felt forced to me in this case. And so I think, in that sense, I do. But that's just, as I say, I really enjoy games that are more minimalist, that strip away a lot of the gamey feel to it. And so expectations for me, increased expectations increase the amount that a developer has to put into a game, which for me ends up just being a bit there's just the cup floweth over, and I'm usually not as much of a fan.
Before you start, Pete, I will just say that if anyone has an opinions on this, we'd love to hear from you. So jump into the Discord, into the On Hold channel, and we'll bring in some people to be able to talk as well. Peter.
Yeah, I mean, I know you guys have differing points, but I think they're both valid. I think the thing that comes up for me with this is always it's the pricing. Pricing sets an expectation for me. Fall Guys was maybe too expensive for what it is for me, and therefore I'm a little bit disappointed by what I got for $30 with a Fall Guys.
Yeah, right.
As opposed to you spend $80 on a Control and you get what feels like an $80 game.
You spend $80 on
a Control is actually. Was it double? Yeah, it was cheaper
cheap when
than
it came
that.
out, yeah.
But yes, but I know the point.
But you could say an $80 Last of Us game is worth $180 in terms of polish and design, and
you could, and
I think Fall Guys is totally worth $30.
Sure, but that's your opinion. That's not mine.
Yeah, but I know what you mean though. In that you're getting just the one thing.
Yeah,
you're getting the one experience that you can't necessarily get better at, like Rocket League, where you can see the skill progression. So you go, okay, I can see. I can see why you would.
Yeah, and I don't mean to pick on Fall Guys. I think it is
it's an interesting
a perfectly fine version of that kind of game, but. Yeah, I mean, for example, last week when I was talking about, and I can't even remember the name of that shooter
Rogue
that's
Company?
on Epic Store, Rogue Company, which I think mechanically, I think is really fun. It is a free-to-play game. It's that's totally worth the $0 that I spent, and I enjoyed my time with it. And I feel like people just it's such a critic's world, and of course, critics exist, but everyone's a fucking critic.
Yeah.
Metacritic exists and it shouldn't. And people get turned away from things because they say everyone hates it, which means I'm not allowed to enjoy it. Of course you're allowed to enjoy it.
Yeah.
It sucks that people get turned off things. Of course they need to get value for money, which is why criticism should exist, because consumer criticism is a pro-consumer thing in design. But yeah. That's my opinion. I'm not gonna if I spend $100 on a game and I don't like it, that's when I'm disappointed.
Yeah, it's a sensible metric to judge expectation, and you're right, the term value itself, by actually having a price tag next to it and being that wasn't worth that amount of money that I put in. So
Dolphin Pants in the chat says Pete sitting with 3 people who used to be professional critics.
Yeah.
The other thing I would add to the discussion would be kind of like you. But I think a lot of games...
You, sorry.
Sure. I think a lot of games have this expectation probably set from a publisher level of people need to be playing this game for a long time and it needs to have a tail. And so therefore you need to add a bunch of stuff to this game to make sure that people don't just move on from this after the 8 hours that they spend with it and then go and do something else. And so that means that you start, so I think something like, I mean, I've yet to play Avengers properly. I've only played the beta and I've actually been hearing better things about it than during the beta. But by cramming in things where it's like, we need to extend the tail of this game or the scope of this game, then that is what creates sacrifice to everyone. Because like you said, an open world game can't look as good as The Last of Us 2 because it's just actually not possible to put that many pixels in a game. And so I do think that there's an unrealistic expectation of we've seen the best and now we want the best in everything. But my only expectation would be every game should have one thing that it's great at. And if you build your game around the one thing that you're great at and just have one thing that you really nail, then the rest of your game can be whatever. But if you nail your one thing, then you've got a good game because you've just you tried to go for something and you got there.
We do have some people on hold.
Please.
I'll bring Darcy across. I'm going to move you in to on-air caller. And Darcy, can we hear you?
Hi, how you doing?
Hey.
There we go.
How are you, buddy?
Let me get you.
Yeah, very well.
Ooh,
Thank you.
sorry.
It's good to be back on.
Yes, were you on last week or did you win a competition? Because I
did the haiku a while ago.
Right. Darcy and his
Yes.
haikus.
That was lovely.
do you have unrealistic expectations for games, Darcy?
I feel like in some people's opinions I do. I think you touched on it briefly just before, Nick. I just the thing I hate most is mediocrity. I think when AAA games you're paying $80 for something that's kind of been done before, and it's just a mediocre experience. It's not the best of any genre. That's when my expectations, are definitely not being met. I'd rather play kind of not even a great game, but that did something interesting or did something new or did something that I could be oh wow, if they develop on that would be an amazing game than just play a mediocre AAA game.
I think it's hard as well because games are commercial. There's this idea that every game needs to sell like gangbusters, and so that means that if you take a swing for the fences, I don't know, Struggling, where the whole game is just about weird fetus with 2 arms, that you go, well, you're probably not going to reach the maximum amount of audience with that. And so therefore, is that a prudent commercial decision while it might be a prudent artistic decision? So mediocrity is kind of born out of fear because people are like, oh, we have this cool idea, but over the course of development, it got watered down and added to because we want to make sure as many people play this as possible.
Yeah, that's why I really love sort of the rise of the B game. If you look at a game like Senua's Sacrifice, not an amazing high budget, but that game managed to take their budget and do something interesting with narrative that they were able to innovate on. And even a lot of indie games, even not for broadcast, that game is never going to be published by a AAA developer, and that concept probably can't be taken to that level. But you just get something interesting. And that's probably where my high expectations for AAA games come from.
That's such a great example. And I feel like Senua's Sacrifice was kind of the first return of the solid B game because that was a game that was priced appropriately for what it was. And it wasn't the best gameplay. It was quite repetitive, a little bit clunky at times, but the story was super incredible, doing something innovative, as you said, but also was a price point that let me know that I wasn't getting necessarily the most primo gameplay experience. But then I didn't mind because I was paying.
And on top of that, you get a nice sensation at the end of it of a value for the if you weren't expecting it and it did come in at a lower price point, you're that just adds to the overall feeling at the end of it of just being pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
And I think that and I don't want to be the Game Pass guy because I have slowly turned into that person over the last week, but I reckon a service like Game Pass probably has a bunch of fucking terrible commercial shit that I don't know about, but in theory should allow for the rise of that AA game you're talking about, Darcy, or that B grade game, because it can be well, we have this idea, we only have a game that lasts 6 hours, we've built around this core mechanic, and it might not be the greatest, but it's the Senua's Sacrifice or whatever, because it can get added to a catalog, and it doesn't need to sell 10 million units, it just needs to keep people, people need to load in that month on Game Pass and see, 7 new titles, and it just needs to be something that keeps you paying $10 a month. So I actually think that a service like Game Pass can facilitate experimentation because the expectations of how many people play that game are way lowered because it becomes like animatized across all the games that are released on that service.
It is comparable to the rise of the terrible B-grade Christmas movie on Netflix, which floods Netflix every season, and people, including myself, absolutely love. And they are so terrible, and I would never want to pay an individual price for any of those films, but I love that I have a whole catalogue of them to binge at my leisure during Christmas time.
I would pay to have those removed from my Netflix watch history because it's like I don't want people to know.
I
Darcy,
have seen Lacey Chabert fall in love with some sort of Christmas prince at least 5 times.
so much, and it's always like in some kingdom. And
I was going to say, my expectation for Christmas movies is way too high. Like, I can't get on that.
Thank you very much, Darcy. Go enjoy some Christmas movies.
Thank you.
All right, good chat, everybody. Second question came in from HJ Baker 96, and again, if you have opinions, jump into the on hold now. I mean, not now, because you don't even know what the question is, but maybe you will have opinions. I mean, we're all paid.
There's a strap on screen already.
Yeah.
Right, next gen expert. There you go. But I was going to say we're all paid to professionally have opinions. Like, I could ask you anything, and you have to give me an answer. So, like, you guys could be in the Discord.
Asking me anything.
Oh my god, I've totally frozen.
Is someone in the Discord?
Useless.
Is someone in the Discord?
There's heaps of people in Discord,
Well, there we
but
go.
they think they're talking about something else.
AJ Baker 96 says maybe a discussion on what next gen games look like for you, which is why we were like, is Steph talking about? Does she somehow know the second
No, I
question?
said I kind of merged the 2 questions together. I see what you mean.
That's fine. Like, what do you guys want from next gen? 4K, 60 FPS. What kind of games or features in games that take advantage of better hardware? What's important to you in terms of what you're looking for in a generational leap? And then Peter Guns follows on with this that basically wraps it up with to us what makes next gen. So what is next gen to you, Gus?
It's funny because it really is. We're getting to that stage now where it's just becoming this homogenous kind of like just last gen into next. Doesn't have that defining title that gets put in a launch trailer that makes you go, oh my god, I've never seen a game do
That's
that
it.
before.
That's
That's
it.
what
That's
it is.
next
We
gen.
get tech demo ones. There was that one previously for PS5 that showed, I can't remember the title, which is very pretty, but I've seen there have been a handful of moments in other games where they've felt just as pretty. So it's not doing the same blowing me out of my chair kind of like, I can't believe they can do this anymore.
It's just so hard because I feel like it takes so long to make a game. Like, how can you?
I've always speculated that this it's just
Imagine if Cyberpunk was a next gen game,
yeah.
like made for next gen, couldn't run on current consoles, like was only going to look amazing on next gen. You had to buy next gen to play it, and that was like the delineation between the two.
Yeah, I guess in my mind it's always been like you can make games look as pretty as you give them developers amazing tools, but it's still going to take talented artists, a lot of them, and most of the time they end up getting crunched, like working ridiculous hours to create these things, because apart from ways that we can make games faster using kind of like procedural generation stuff like that, you still need people to make decisions and design these games to look good with an art style. So you can't just take a new box and go, oh, it does everything for me, I'll make a really sexy looking game in it. So for me, it's always been the idea that like graphics aren't really the next gen anymore. They're gonna look better, they're going to look really shiny, and there's going to be particles everywhere. But for me, it comes down to the boring stuff. It's load times. It's accessibility, it's cloud saves, which I know exist, but like just seamlessness of the ability, I think, with the new PS5 to pick up and put down. It's like, I think both of them have save states in them.
Yeah, like you can
dive in.
suspend
Just-
multiple games.
Yeah, but you can also just load into chapters.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
straight
yeah,
from
yeah.
from the main menu.
I don't know if that's, again, just me getting older and more boring, but that's the stuff that really excites me now, because graphically I know it's just going to be this increment that's going to go up and up and up, but we're beyond the days of N64 to GameCube. We don't have those leaps.
So
in
true,
my mind.
and it
Yeah,
is.
but even it wasn't even that one. It was NES to SNES,
Yeah.
and then
Well,
It was like you
and
doubled
then
the
SNES to 64 because we suddenly had all these 3D games.
I want to show you a side by side of it. But the N64 to a GameCube, I reckon there was definitely a
Yeah, but
movement
it's
there.
like it's during that era. Like the reason it doesn't matter anymore, and obviously there are companies that care that it does matter, but it doesn't, is because everything's freaking cross-platform. Everything's based on PC architecture anyway.
Yeah.
Like they're all just little PCs. Just because you have an Xbox doesn't mean it's not a PC.
Yeah.
So it's like it's just packaged. arguably better.
Yeah.
So it's like it's become really incremental, which is why graphics don't matter anymore, because they incrementally increase over the duration of a console's life, as opposed to something that's locked at 16 colors.
Yeah. And then they get 24. It's like, the change comes with the console.
Yeah.
So, I think that's why that's the interesting stuff for me.
But I think that will be good then, because that stuff certainly is going to be heaps improved in next gen. I think with solid state drives, there's going to be far less loading. That being able to load in is going to be heaps more seamless.
It's nice that they're not having that war anymore over the graphic fidelity, so they can start to allocate those resources into things that actually make the experience of playing games more enjoyable and more accessible. And I think that will make the medium and as a hobby, it'll make it far more enjoyable.
Yeah, but I mean, they're selling their consoles on 4K frame rates, and
I'm out on that in that discussion. 60 FPS is cool. 4K, I think everyone's a bit slow to pick up until they see it and have the.
Yeah, but 4K doesn't mean anything.
It also means an expensive piece of hardware you need to have as well, like a TV.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Well,
great. I was going to ask Nick, what do you think?
Well, I think that I'm on your side, where I think next gen for me is the things that I don't know. The things that help developers, it's not things that I necessarily get. I see. So something like solid state drive, even the way that Sony are custom building their hard drive, so that it I have no technical understanding of it, but it basically is like they're putting them in a parallel way or something where you can access the most amount of information as fast as you possibly can. And that, yes, they will cut down on something like loading, but it's going to open up doors developmentally that I don't understand, that will allow for me to see new stuff. I mean, we spoke about this on the somewhat daily backup with the Ratchet and Clank gameplay, where I went, that was the first time that I've seen something for either of these consoles where I went, that's next gen. And the reason is that the second thing that I always think of next gen is when I go, oh, I think I know what a lot of stuff exploding on screen looks like, and then I see this, and I go, oh, I was wrong. So I actually go, it's not that the game necessarily looks better, it's like, oh, it's doing something that I thought I saw impressive stuff of this, and now I'm seeing so much more.
Yeah.
Then the third thing I would add, which is, this is a wanky answer, but I think next gen is actually secretly happening to us all, and we've kind of missed it, and it is something like Game Pass. It is something like xCloud. It is something like the idea of like the PS Plus subscription where you get these free games. This idea of like game accessibility where you can get them anywhere, you can get them at any point. I can get them. Like I was playing something. I was playing Tell Me Why on my PC downstairs. And then we had my mother-in-law staying over the last couple of days, so she's using the guest room, which is where I've got my office set up. So then I couldn't play that at night down there, so I just went upstairs and turned on the Xbox, and it had already preloaded because I'd set it up from my phone to load into my Xbox, and then I booted it up there and the save picked up. And for me, I'm like, shit, that's so next gen, and I didn't even really realize that happened, and it happened over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And it's because the tools were in these systems to be able to open these things up to developers. I think you really hit next gen, like you said, 6 years into a console cycle when everyone's figured out how to use this stuff.
True.
Yeah.
And also a lot of those selling points that they're often touting about when they release a new console or a new generation and say it can do all these things. I'm trying to think of the times that they've said all these great bits of tech wizardry will work out of the box, and they never really do. And it takes that console's lifetime until they can finally implement things like cloud saves and all that kind of stuff. And then you're right, by the time it actually becomes practical, by the time it happens without you thinking, that's usually moving into the next gen kind of thing. So I wonder if this generation will have that same level of like lofty expectations of things it can do technically, but it's straight out of the box. That's not really working yet. That doesn't happen in Australia. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
And then 6 months, a year down the track, suddenly that's just something we do now.
Yeah.
Sorry, Pete.
I wanted to say, because I saw something that Bearman499 said, and that was that truly know when we've reached next gen when crowds in FIFA don't look like shit.
Totally.
It's always something I went and checked.
Except now crowds in FIFA look like shit because they're like in real football because they're on TV screens on Zoom calls. So,
Well, they'll look real because it'll just be empty. It'll just be-
Those little tests are always nice. I remember like the puddles, whether they were like splashy puddles
Yep.
or reflections in mirrors.
I think I might have
You
said.
can't get away with not doing with a cracked mirror or a dirty mirror.
No.
yeah, dirty mirrors.
I might have told the story.
How dirty is that mirror?
There was a picture in N64 Gamer of Perfect Dark of her looking in a puddle and having
Yeah.
a one-to-one reflection. And I got the game and I ran to a puddle and looked in it, not there. And I was like,
It's only one specific puddle that
Yeah.
they did.
yeah.
And before we get someone on the call, Ripple07 says, is Nick secretly sponsored by Game Pass? He's mentioned it so many times this week. I know, it's disgusting. I'm sorry. It's sort of hitting me and I think I'm in love.
You're totally right. As you've been talking about it, I've been checking the store more and more, and I'm thinking like, there's actually a large amount of things I want to play, not
Yeah.
just that sort of back catalogue.
But
It's
it
getting
wasn't
weird.
always like that.
No, it wasn't.
It
And it's
was-
just tipped over in the last couple of months.
yeah,
Massively.
They've done some massive changes to Game Pass to make it.
You
like,
guys
super
talking about it
worthwhile all
in
of a
the
sudden.
in the daily backup, saying that it used to be almost that thing where it's like, hey, this game's been out for a couple of months or a year or two.
Yeah.
Did you play it? Do you want to play it? Here it is in Game Pass or Games with Gold. And now it's there's a larger amount of games coming out from release directly to it, and they're games I want to play. So
Darcy Corn says the Switch was pretty bloody next gen, and I agree with that. That's totally the kind of thing I was talking about. And then someone, Pete, you find someone to bring into the call. Where was it? I can't find you, but it was someone said, true next gen will be a way in which we can kill bloody Muiredach or whatever Nick's Baron was called. I was like, yes, that is true next gen. Who we got?
We're going to bring in Deluxe 98.
Let's do it.
it's a deluxe 98 kind of night.
Deluxe, are you there? You're muted at the moment.
Yes, I am.
Hey,
Yay!
How are you, buddy?
Good stuff.
Excellent. It's very warm, actually. It's quite warm in this studio. Has anyone else noticed this?
no, I've known it from the start.
Are we not able to have the air conditioning on?
We don't
We,
have
we can turn it on. We can
It'd
turn
be
it on.
really great if we did.
Deluxe, we're turning on the aircon. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's perfectly fine, mate.
What is next gen for you?
I've been thinking about it. The two expectations I have for next gen is one, crossplay,
Yep.
and two, the SSDs and loading times. They keep crapping on about the SSDs and the loading times, and the only game so far that I've seen that shows that off is Ratchet and Clank.
Yes, for sure. With pulling in the new dimensions and stuff. And we
Yeah,
spoke.
like,
Go ahead.
Could you imagine doing that on PS4?
Yeah, totally. And we spoke about the SSDs before, but I think you're totally right. Cross gen is so like next gen is the true embracing of everyone. Just put your sort of like dick and clit swinging competitions down. I want it to be fair,
Yeah.
and it's nothing. The clitoris is a part of the human body.
Swing a clit.
Hang on, let's just finish this point before we before we get back.
And actually embrace the fact that we all want to play games, and that I'm not necessarily I'm not going to buy a PS4 just to play one game with my friends, but I will buy that PS4 exclusive if it's on some other platform that I can also play with mates.
Hang on, therefore it's not an exclusive.
Well, I'm saying that like any sort of cross-platform, whether it's like Sony putting games on PC or being able to play on different consoles with each other, like just
Yeah.
the idea of like sharing games across hardware platforms, and it doesn't like in the same way that Windows will work on any goddamn PC. That
And as Pete made the point earlier, it's like these are becoming less and less about like bespoke little boxes that have their own hardware setups in them. They are becoming just PCs with different shirts on. And so, that crossplay idea is just like there's no reason we can't be doing that outside of, big business going at each other kind of thing. So-
Totally. Deluxe, what was the game for you, like in the past, that blew your mind and you were like, oh, now we're living in the future?
Look, I don't really know, but like with the crossplay, Fortnite started it, but then COD perfected it.
It is, that's actually a really good point. Like COD right now is just a sort of a perfect environment where everyone is just playing with everyone, but no one's really making a big deal out of it. So it's just increasing the player base. And hopefully that just becomes the new standard, I guess, would be a nice thing to see.
All right, well, thank you very much for calling in,
I'd love
dude.
for us to just be.
Oh, no, sorry,
Also,
you were a
I'd
little
love for
quieter,
us-
so we might have talked over you there.
Yeah, so we're all gamers. I'd really love for us all just to band together, no matter what you own: PC, PS4, Xbox, whatever.
That's absolutely the spirit. I love that. I feel like the man is preventing that from happening at the moment, but the dream would be for that to be applicable to every game, wouldn't it?
We should unionize.
We should.
absolutely.
Like as a people who identify with a hobby, we should unionize in a way where we can like really fight the power.
Power to the people.
Power to the people. All right, Darcy. Thanks very much, dude.
That wasn't Darcy.
That was
Thank you.
deluxe.
No, Deluxe. Well, also Darcy.
No worries.
I don't know if I said thank you, Deluxe. You're my favorite Deluxe. Darcy, you're nothing to me.
Bye, mate.
My favorite part of this entire evening has been watch Pete freak, shake his head.
I'm not freaked, but I can't explain it. The freak is the echo in the system on that Discord call, so we won't do any more calls tonight. It's a background issue, but it's there.
Is everyone else hearing an echo?
No, most people are
audience.
talking about how
Oh,
you
right.
swing a clit. That's
Yeah.
what most people are talking
No,
about.
it's
The
definitely in
general
the
focus of
feed.
Chat is
But
on
Nice to know everyone's got their eyes on the prize.
We've got one final question before we hear a word from our sponsors. From Chaotic Owl, who says pockets, which are best, and what clothes feature the most?
Oh, I have a lot to say about this.
Okay.
Okay,
Let's get
I
Steph
feel like
single.
there has been some gender discrimination when it comes to pockets in
True.
clothes throughout history. And as a woman, I feel greatly offended by the fact that sometimes I will buy a pair of pants, there will be pockets for me to put my things in, sewn shut,
Yeah.
not even a real pocket. The other thing is that when I wear a nice jacket or a blazer, the most fancy and preferred place to carry things inside the breast pocket.
Oh, yeah.
Like you see a suave James Bond pull something out of there or show tickets
Yep.
or something. No woman's blazer has a pocket in there.
Have you tried
I guess because it would spoil the line of the boob. I don't care about that. I want to carry stuff in there, and I want to whip out show tickets, when I take my man
Also-
on a nice show date.
Also, it could enhance the line of the boob and give you one of those pointy Madonna boobs.
Oh,
if you had
yeah.
like 2 tickets
that
for
could
the
vibrate on calls. Yeah, I totally back that up by saying that I agree with everything you just said because
Gus is a feminist now.
because I'm a pocket feminist because the inside blazer pocket is my favorite pocket. And you're right about it. It comes out at fancy occasions when one is wearing a blazer. It's also the nicest time because I wear tight jeans. Most of the population do now. It's down to tight pants. And still putting a phone in there is just
Weird bulge.
it's a weird bulge. And you get to take your phone out for a night on the town when you wear a blazer because it gets to sit snugly in a blazer pocket. It hangs down. It doesn't create any bulge or anything. It's like you forget you've got it on you. It's a delight.
Which is dangerous because you always take your jacket off at some point.
Yeah,
You do.
And then
you're
your
swinging
wallet
around
and
your head.
Your wallet
Yeah.
and your phone are,
Or you take the arms and you tie it around your waist.
We go to different
and you
functions.
skateboard.
You and swinging things tonight.
I'm a swinging kind of guy.
It is. But also the nicest
Calm.
part about the upgrade of the phone in the blazer pocket is just every time you take it out. We're watching a review of pockets.
Yeah.
Every time you take that phone out of said blazer pocket, you do just feel a little bit James Bond. You just go, sorry, I have to take a call.
I want that feeling, Gus, and I never get it.
So you've ignited the chat with your pro women pants pockets scenario. But I will say that the other thing that struck me weird about women's pockets is that lots of women's clothing has heaps more fabric than men's clothing. Like if you look at a dress, you could fill that thing with pockets. And like you said, we have skin tight pants on a lot of the time. And when you put something in your pocket, it's like there's this weird bulge.
Oh, you
in
have
a dress.
keys and-
You can hide it in the folds of the dress, and you could have like 30 pockets. You could put mice in some of them and bread to feed your mice in the other one. Like it's that level
Because
of.
the majority of women's clothing is not designed for functionality. But yes, there have been a couple of red carpet dresses that have had pockets, and you better believe that every single person is posing with their hands in their pockets to show off the pocket feature, and everyone's like, "Wow, a dress with pockets."
So you like the inside pocket. You like the inside pocket as well. You both agree. You think more of your clothes should have pockets, and the clothes that have the most pockets, or the pockets that you like.
I've started wearing cargo pants in the last 12 months, and it's like
They're tapered though; they're still fancy cargo.
they're fancy cargo pants.
Yeah.
But they've got like a million pockets, more pockets than you could ever need.
And what do you put in those pockets?
I put lens caps in them.
Yeah,
I put
gaffer
tape
tape.
in them.
Yeah.
How often
I
are you
put
forgetting
cables
what's in
them.
those pockets? That's
Never.
too many pockets, mate.
You don't forget what's
put
in
a
your
little
pockets.
dog
You just
poop
forget
bag
which
in
pockets
there.
it's in. So you go boom, 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 boom.
No,
there it
that's
is.
already
He
too
does-
many. The man pat's enough. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But like doing the legs as well. You're doing a German dance now.
Yeah.
Too many pockets.
I feel like
sometimes you gotta
I
dance
feel
with
like
tape.
cargo pants got a bad rap in the 90s because they were just too baggy.
They were too baggy. There was
But
just
now,
too much, yeah.
like this gentleman gentleman in this video, a nice like fitted cargo pant, I'm into it. Plus, when Pete wears them, he looks like a tactical like army man.
Yeah.
He wears them with like his lace-up combat boots and then a beanie.
Yeah, and you're
so
fucking-
it looks like he's about to go and like zip line into a mansion.
Yeah.
With night vision goggles on.
Except the night vision goggles are actually just 2 lens caps he's gaffer taped.
And I'm not approving of that because as the guy who's trying his hardest to become the said military man with beard and backwards hat, I feel threatened by this.
No, but I do. I enjoy
I'd
it.
like some
I
cargo
enjoy a
pants.
tapered cargo for sure. That's like like I have several.
handy.
I have several looks. Like on this show, mainly what you see is sort of hipster skater look, where it's lots of big jumpers and that sort of thing. But that's a
in
deliberate
them.
choice
From
because
the-
the
from
three
the
of us
skating.
look very similar from the skating. But like my at-home look that like pleases my lady, that's very much like just urban. Sorry, like country boot, tapered cargo, that sort of situation. My favorite pocket. The coin pocket.
I was just about to say we need a moment of silence for the coin pocket.
Yeah, well, it's not.
It's almost obsolete.
Well, the reason that I like it is not because I use it. I barely use it, but I just like that it is like a very specific pocket. It's like if you made a phone pocket that if you put something in there and it connects to a little charger and charges up, that you have to put your phone in there. The same with coins. You can't put coins in any other pocket because it's going to fuck with everything else in your pockets. You have the coin pocket and you can only see he's got a coin. Of course he does. And so you put a coin in there. The only other thing you put in a coin pocket is like a receipt that you folded up really tight and fit it.
And then it fades and you pull it out later and you're like, there's a white piece of paper.
And you're like, oh my God, I'm going to commit fraud at tax time.
I remember there used to be a little thing in the car that when my dad would drive to work to keep coins to put in the bridge toll.
No, that was an ashtray that he put coins in.
No,
I don't think it was an ashtray.
There's a coin thing in
No,
cars.
no, you're just really young. You are right.
Because I remember there was an ashtray one and it had the little metal bit for
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
smudging the
Like the
cigarette
metal-
into. This
No,
is different.
I've got
It
one
was
in
a
mine.
Yeah.
thing
Got a
on
little
the right-hand
coin-
side
Yep.
that did not have ashtray functionality.
Yep.
That was
Yep.
literally just for putting coins in.
How old are you people?
Look at
How
me,
old
like
are our
I'm 5
cars?
years older
Yeah,
than you.
It's fucking bridges have been around forever, mate.
And
like
you had to play it.
Bridges?
Yeah.
that's what they
You gotta
it was
pay
for
the
tolls.
troll.
Chat,
It was
back
to
me up.
pay for tolls.
Oh, toll. I thought you said troll.
No, it's tolls. Chat. I've got it in my Corolla. Says Mr. Phantasmo. Bearman. Yeah, it was a coin thing. Coin bit built into the mid tray. Says ruffle.
You're all
Also,
crazy.
how do you pay the bloke who comes and, or the
Wait,
guy
what?
or girl who comes and cleans your window with your little squidgy mop?
Yeah, well, that's a
He
a
doesn't
tough
use-
gig now.
he
It's
doesn't
a
use
dime
paper.
industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what that's for.
They need those little
Square.
square things
Yep.
that you pay with.
I'm not sad to see the coin pocket go.
What?
I
The
had-
coin pocket will exist forever.
Well, you can't get a key in it a lot of the time, or you put one in that stabs you, so it's never as
Yep.
comfy as putting a coin in. And I remember back in the day buying like drinks over a bar with a note and just getting coin after coin after coin, and then you would just fill it. And a full coin pocket is not as satisfying as it sounds.
Tell you what? When I'm handling meat or putting putting crap in my hair,
Yep.
Yeah.
this goes in the coin pocket.
That's that's.
Crap in my hair.
You know,
No, that's true. Yeah.
No, I get it.
fancy stuff.
Yeah.
A son of a beach says it was a curved thing and often had a divider in the middle to separate like gold and silver or your
Yes.
50s and your 10s. Yeah,
Yes.
totally.
This doesn't exist.
No, it totally
It
does.
absolutely
It's never
does.
been in any car ever.
Car coin
true.
pouch.
Oh, and of course, while you're looking that up, we'll touch on the fact that, of course, Polly Pocket. Polly Pocket is going as well as it ever did. Look at these new Polly Pockets
It's
you
actually
can find
a
in Polly
pretty
Pocket
epic
store.
collector's item now. People like they sell for lots of money.
They're sick.
Someone was talking about it the other day, I remember, and they were bringing up, was the male equivalent, when this is very like gendered toys, that like Mighty Max?
Yeah, I
Which
never
was-
had Mighty Max.
I had a Mighty Max, which was the same kind of thing. It was a little diorama.
I had a
that
Mighty
opened up.
Max!
Yeah, and he had tiny little things in it that rotated, but he was like infiltrating an alien base or something, which I feel like would have been much cooler for both genders versus the idea that not every Polly Pocket had to be a holiday retreat.
Yeah, and the Polly Pocket model extended beyond Polly Pocket and even Mighty Max or whatever it's called, because I had Star Wars ones as well. Like I had a Chewbacca head that opened up and I had like a scene from Return of the Jedi, and I had Darth Vader was Empire Strikes Back, like the window that broke out, and like there was a little thing that you could push Luke out the window and stuff.
I was more a monsters in your pocket kind of guy.
I never really understood like the attraction to Polly Pocket because for me, like the attraction of any kind of toy like figurine, be it like a pony or
full
an
screen?
action
This is
figure,
fascinating.
or anything, was to be able to use them to play out scenes of stories.
Sure.
And you couldn't really do that with Polly Pocket because it was just like she was there in her apartment and that was it.
Isn't it? I totally understand what you're talking about. I think it's the thing that a lot of people have, which is like the fetish for like a small space.
Yeah.
Like a perfectly contained.
She's
You don't do
there.
anything. You just have it, and then you know at any point you could bring out this little world in your hand.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that not power?
I guess.
It's like
I
that.
don't
It's like
know.
the. It's like the.
my God,
it's like
that's
the
a
gay
good
guy from X-Men, or like the
feel
gay
like my-
analogy,
yeah,
Iceman. It's just like at
my
any point.
value
here's a
enjoyment
ball of
was
ice.
very
No one
very
cares.
low.
No one gives a shit what I'm talking about.
We have the show
We're
has
all
sort of
mesmerised by tiny
devolved
things.
into Polly Pocket.
All
There you go.
right.
I feel like we gave Tiny Pockets way too much time.
We gave it so much time. I was not expecting that at all. All right, it's time to move on to the final part of our show. But before we do, Pete, can we hear a quick word from our sponsors?
I think we can.
Fucking coffee. Fuck.
Itself popping up in the main show. It'll pop up possibly in some backplays. The idea is it will circulate as part of our media and part of your representation and something fun that we can always have to smile at when we see.
Pete, give him a single. Listen, you piece of shit.
Oh, look at us.
Look at this
Teamwork. Up. Now we're dangling with. I'll swing. So long, baby. Oh, flesh. Nailed that.
Oh no, you've got his dick.
Oh, sorry, that's my arm.
Ah!
Oh, shit.
Run away!
I'm trying. My arm came off.
Come on, what was that?
That was genuine fear.
I see how it is. You offer Pocky and you give me plain and you keep cookies and cream.
Cookies and cream.
The best ones.
This is bullshit. All right, welcome back. And before we move on to the next bit, just another quick segue or side note. Obviously, we love all of our word from our sponsors, but I do want to give a special shout out to Klumps, who genuinely put in some real Shaun of the Dead effort on that.
That was great.
That was beautiful.
Wonderfully
Great
timed.
response in chat as well. They loved it.
very, very funny.
And I'm going to pronounce the second one wrong, Pete. It was something Animelting?
Animelting.
Animelting, who chose the word poot? Poot, which we still had to kind of look up. We weren't quite sure what
Yeah,
it
it's
was.
on Urban
Budget
Dictionary.
thing.
That's what we thought.
Yeah.
It's a
Bud
budget.
budget poo.
It's
It's a
Does that mean
it's a little
fart?
fart?
Okay. There we go.
Good. Well, I'm glad
Just
that's
like a
on our
little
show.
Beautifully made as well. And thank you to everyone who is still sending those ones in. Cardi, you wonderful dog. You.
Everyone, don't worry. That was the bread part, not the chocolate part.
all chocolate.
And you did see a little clip of struggling there as well.
Yes, that was a lot of fun, and we're still finishing that one up, and I think it'll be
there's
twice
some
as
poots
many
and
streams, 3 times as many streams.
I enjoyed the fact that when we filmed it, there was just something about the feeling of filming that. I don't know if you felt it as well, but it was like we just kind of like sat down and just started and then ended and walked away. It had a real like
Let's never talk of that again.
and also just like super loose in a way that I very much enjoyed.
Yeah.
You and I share very long special times in this, and you and I
Scream
we're in a
together.
relationship, and you and I were just like, you want to fuck? All right, let's do it. And
do
let's
it.
move on.
What did we make? This weird fleshy thing. Dispose of it. Move on. I'll see you tomorrow.
You are the
exciting.
Crusader King second wife.
Ah,
Yeah.
there we go.
Nice.
God, Crusader Kings, let's play that game. But no, let's play something else. Welcome to the back nine.
Presented to you by us.
From
Raj.
This one, the back nine is presented by Raj. You remember Raj. Presented by Raj. If you want your show cancelled, call Raj. He'll come in all handsome and smelling like a mix of earthy clays and Moroccan spices, but he will somehow get your show cancelled. I don't know if it's his aura, or he knows a guy, or he's like a walking broken mirror, but he will cancel your show. If you have a show, don't call Raj. Unless you hate that show, then Raj is the man for you. Raj! He'll fuck your shit up.
I want that on a t-shirt.
We've got everyone's just while I'm looking at it right now, everyone's patron pick comes up now, but like after an hour, the thing freaks out and just starts like, I don't know if it ramps up.
Oh,
in
we just got a
speed,
speed
but
run
it's
through
just-
pictures.
I'm just gonna refresh the cache.
No, no, it's good.
I like it.
It starts going really, really fast. It'll be manic and wild.
These people also got what they were promised, which was the picture would be shown once. After that, we
Yep.
own the IP. We can do whatever we want with you. Okay, an IP we don't own, PGA Tour 2K21.
Here it is.
This has been getting a good rap. Like, it's been a while between decent golf games. I think the Tiger Woods series aren't really the thing that they once were, which was like an iterative year after year golf game. And so, is this 2K? I think's first golf game from all accounts.
I wish.
You don't have to answer.
Why
Anyway,
asking these questions while we're live?
point is, I think we've set this up.
We look like fucking idiots now.
Well, we
Idiots
would have
playing
wankers.
This information was fresh in our minds a week ago
Yeah, that's
when you
true.
built the graphic and
We
we,
ran
were
out
gonna
of
play last
time.
week.
We always talk too much, then we get to the end of the show and we're like, oh crap.
But I think like
golf
it's really
games
fun to have a
2K made?
have a fun little like competitive game. So we thought what we might do is take on at least one hole of golf between the 4 of us, each taking turns. I think if we follow traditional golf rules, it'll always be the person with the ball furthest back who has to hit. But at the moment, we've got a character made by each of Nichboy's guests,
Yes.
and this is Nichboy.
This is Nichboy.
How exciting.
You can tell
Can't
by
you
the
tell?
red hair.
You're a redhead, apparently.
Yeah.
If this was next gen, there'd be better character customization and more hair options.
There's decent character customization in this, but it's all pay to customize.
Also, we made Nick is like 8 feet tall. You can't really see in this, but he's 8 feet tall, and I am, I think, 5 foot tall.
Oh, good. Because when I was making one at home, I was like, how small can I go? And then I made it really small, and I was like, can she hold a club? Okay, so
Take
I
it
need
away.
to remember these controls because
Back on the right thumbstick, forward on the right thumbstick.
And the main one is hold.
That's all you need to know.
No. Like all golf games, you hold Y, and you'll do like a flyover to where your shot is, and then if you move, I think D-pad or that control around, if you go further.
Wait,
up,
am I in a
Hang on, is this a
tutorial?
challenge mode?
I mean,
No, this is local. This is local, man.
Okay.
Look
Well,
at the guests. We're all Nichboy guests.
But then if you hold that Y again, Nick, and you push that forward, he's
doesn't
off.
care, mate. He's just driving down the fairway.
cares about golf?
No one cares about golf in the world.
I love golf, but I only like golf when it's played by like anime characters, and they
Oh,
like every
Mario?
time they do the hit, and they're like,
What?
Oh, well, who's this handsome character?
That's a
Hello?
hat.
A hat-wearing bearded
jock.
We couldn't make the hat backwards.
That's unfortunate.
That's
Well, I'm
a-
not wearing a hat.
but you did give
That'll
him
cost you $12.
a chin strap.
That's
Thank
it's
you.
a very seedy beard that
Yeah.
he's rocking there.
No
It's not quite as luscious as yours.
Sorry?
no one saw my hat.
Yeah, they saw you, huh? I was on you,
Did
huh?
they?
Yeah,
You did? Okay, good.
Yeah.
There's my shot. Where's Nicky's
Very
ball? There's Nicky's ball.
Very kawaii.
Oh, I think you might have beat me.
I think I did. Not bad,
Seth
though.
Green, someone said. Yeah, that's very
Look,
Seth
it's
Green.
me. I'm so small. If you reckon my height is
You are
going to
small.
be an impediment to my drive,
Potentially. Unless
You'll be
you're
fine.
all
How-
like upper body.
So
Yeah, I
I
was
just
gonna say.
I just press Y.
Holding Y will get you just where your ball's going to go, but straight ahead makes sense. The only
what?
thing to counter for is the wind, as Nick and I have discovered, is going 12 miles per hour in a westerly direction. So if
But
you go
also
a little
coming
bit
from
to the
behind
right,
as well,
Yep,
so
there we
give you a
go.
little
And then if you
boost.
hit a
Come here,
perfectly
Scotty.
straight shot, you'll be fine.
And to hit the shot, no,
So- no, Y
hit
again.
So to hit the shot,
Yep.
pull the right thumbstick back and then flick it forward when it's in the white as straight as you can as well.
Oh, stressful.
So for the you didn't swing it forward.
Forward!
No, don't move.
Yeah,
Never
yeah.
move.
Now you can reset. You just reset. That was a dud.
Don't
Okay.
move,
So
never
just
move.
pull it back until where?
Pull back until it's in the white
But-
on that bottom bar, and
But
then
keeping in
swing
mind, it's
forward.
really fast.
Or
yeah.
yeah.
And
So, sorry, can I just say, Steph? So, look at me. Pull back is not the right word. It's like flick back, flick forward. It's not like pull and hold. It's like
Yeah.
boom, boom.
Okay. Right. Yeah. I was doing the equivalent of this.
trying to power it
you
up.
were doing a nice
Yeah.
wind up.
Happy Gilmore,
You're having-
6
yeah.
steps back.
So long, sugar.
Okay.
People are saying just hit it.
Just hit it.
Yeah, good.
That was
great.
Nice and straight. And you can see on the right there that's the ball. That's a representation of the ball, and it shows the line that you pulled the stick back and then flicked forward. So
That was great.
So you had a straight
Nick,
line.
I feel like you're a very good teacher. Could you teach me how to drive a manual car?
So,
I didn't
yeah,
know
yeah,
that
it's
you
really
did.
easy. So,
You know what it is?
So you
Flick.
just
It's
drive
just a
it,
flick.
just flick it back and forward.
Flick it back and forward. And this is Pete, apparently?
I'm wearing a yellow shirt. That's how.
Like
I'm
you always
differentiated.
do, old yellow shirt Pete.
Steph, can I just say,
I'm trying to hit a
if
ball.
you
I can't.
want to drive a manual car,
Yes.
do not let Pete teach you. Because
I-
I can't imagine the kind of
is-
hell that would be.
It's too late.
It would break the relationship.
It was really bad.
I'm
And I've just
feeling
resigned myself to an automatic.
I'm anxious just thinking
You
about
broke
that as
the
a
whole
process.
Who's gonna get next shot? We'll find out because we'll
So
see.
first of
who goes
all,
first.
no, I'm reckoning it's you or Pete, because Nick and I are the drive masters here. So it's you again.
That's what they call me.
So I reckon press Y now.
It worked out that we were the furthest people ahead by height.
Where's
Nick tallest.
The pin?
Oh, right.
Gus second tallest.
Good.
Me third tallest. So it is a height game.
Not bad, not bad.
Golf is a height
Yeah.
game.
Spot on. Give it a whack.
Looking good, Steph. Looking good. Oh. Flick forward, remember. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, look how straight
That's
it was.
bloody straight.
Or
It might have been a
looks
little
too
bit.
long.
Bit of
Oh,
wind.
wait for a little backspin.
A bit too much power, but
Can you put spin on this? Because you used to do that in Tiger Woods by mashing a button.
Oh, it's gonna roll down
it's
the hill.
got a good roll.
It's
good
gonna roll
luck.
down,
down
the hill.
the hill, yes!
Come back. Oh my
It's
god.
even curling in. Jesus.
It's one of those holes where it always.
Go to your home. Go to your home.
Old Pete yellow shirt.
That was.
Oh, superb. But now we know how the
Setting
green
up here,
lies.
140.
Yeah, so I can't go
Advantage,
wrong.
Gus.
Oh, that's as far
God,
as
I'm a
I can hit
dick
it.
playing
I
golf.
was going to say, green lies, tacking. Money is really showing on you right now. So I played golf. I did golf lessons when I was a kid. And I went and played golf with my stepdad one day when I was like 14 or 15. And there was a hole
Bit of a
where
slice on this.
where
might
we
be a
were
bit long.
before you get to the green, it was a rise up to the green, so you couldn't actually see the pin. And when you chip up, so we're
Too
there.
much strength
My
dialed in
stepdad
on
chips
that
up,
last
I
swing,
chip
but,
up,
we're
and then we
almost
walk
there, we're
up,
almost
and
there.
he's
Ball's gone.
like,
Okay, second
"Where's
shot
your
here
ball?"
on
I
the
go, "I
first.
don't know. I probably hit it too hard." And we're looking around for ages for the ball, and then I go, "It didn't go in the hole." And then I go over to the hole, and it's in the hole, and I am like, yes, I am the greatest. Because like I was so excited. I was like, I'm the greatest golfer ever.
This
Oh
one
my
might be
god,
a
I
bit
cannot
much.
believe I did this. Now, keeping in mind, all this celebration was about how good I am, not about how bad he was. And I was just like, yes, yes, yes. And then I look over at him, and he's just like, a true golfer shows restraint. I'm like, what? And he's like, no one likes a gloater. I was like, come on, I'm 14 years old. Sorry, Angus.
No.
It's gonna be like French bulls, and you're gonna bonk my ball out.
Well,
of
if
the way.
you've
bonking.
played with the rules correctly and put a little marker down, taking your ball off the green, which it looks like apparently you have, well done.
And where would you put that marker?
In a coin.
Thank you very much.
Ended up
Nikki,
all
you're
right
up.
there.
Okay.
We are about.
We're pretty much all
I
following
have-
in suit.
I've played
gonna fuck
golf
this
in
one
real
right now.
life once, and I think it was a PE lesson at school. And my deduction was that it is mostly walking and not for me.
It's a
Yeah,
good
this
way
one
to.
is
Someone
going
said, I can't believe I'm watching this at 10 p.m. on a Thursday night. I agree.
It's gonna
Golf
roll
is
back too. We
boring.
get another roll already. Here we go.
In all forms.
Come on,
Bring it back.
It's
Bring it back.
speed.
Bring it back. Bring it back. There's definitely a Pete shot after this one. Apparently, this has been doing not why we're doing it, but it's been people have been successfully streaming it, and a lot of people have enjoyed
I feel
watching
like there are
it.
certain genres of game that would have potentially just not done so well, but with streaming culture have just found a really
Yeah, totally.
like unique space.
Yeah, it's something you put golf on TV in the background,
Still
and that's
wrong
why
with
people
this
watch
hell.
Twitch a lot of the
Yeah,
time.
but it's also a game that you can kind of think.
Yes.
Just
Nailed that
It's a
one.
game
That's
that
the
you
same
can
kind of
really
gloating
talk
that we
through,
saw
I think as well, which is why
That's true.
Yeah, totally.
like truck simulators and stuff.
Yes, very
It's
much.
chipping.
Who are you?
I love a good chip.
You're so excited. It's so weird.
Oh, look at that! Oh,
14 years old and playing golf. Nick, did you struggle having friends in school? Yes, I did. And then
lot of
Spawn
speed
says,
off there.
wow, Nick's character looks like a douche.
Oh, it might be
That's
me.
true, but it was made by douches. I didn't make that one.
fast green. This one. Sorry, look at that roll.
just who cares, guys?
Come on. Like,
My suggestion was
did
Tony.
you ever actually hit a ball?
My suggestion was we all compete in Tony Hawk, but no, we want to do golf.
Such a great burn that was lost.
I didn't even hear it.
How do I putt? Hold a putt
He
line.
said, "Did you ever actually hit a ball, or did you just pay someone to do it for you?"
That's what Cadbury was for.
Cadbury.
That is the butler
Hey,
from.
we're learning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're,
put some OG pocket, please.
we're learning something here. I can look at the putt line. Oh no, I can't anymore. I could look at it once.
You can, yeah. I think a lot of the golf games you get to look
That's
at it once,
hard
adjust your aim. Peter's near the.
Oh.
Not bad.
Okay, 26
All right,
footer
Nick
from
Boy.
here.
He's up again.
And I set up the game before, and Nick has played a little bit as well. And it's worth pointing out just how awful the tutorial is in this game.
Oh, I want to. So, I think I want to disagree.
But sorry, when I say awful,
No, I want to
it's
disagree on
bad
the point
awful.
that you're talking about.
Yeah, okay.
No, so you say why it's awful.
It's awful because it is objectively fucking atrocious delivery of lines. It's great because it's obviously a human being that is famous
okay.
in golf.
Yep, okay.
But it's shit.
It is really weird because it is, it's like some golfer telling you how to play golf, but he's very much like, all right, so what we're going to do here is we're just going to like swing your club and you're just going to try and get that ball on the green. And it's you never hear that kind of tone in any video game.
No, in anything that's for the public.
Yeah.
All right, you're gonna reload your magazine here, and if the enemy locusts
it's-
come over the hill, you'll just
God,
them as well.
God.
You left your
Mustard on that
skills
one.
back in
For the
1998.
birdie.
If this is the tutorial, the guy would have gone,
It's
try
not
that
bad.
again.
Pete,
You moved the stick a bit. Good job.
What was your preview button?
Hold A. You just did it, I think. Oh, no, you can't. Maybe I could because I was so far away.
Hey guys, we lost 200 viewers because we're playing golf.
That's fair. Who's left? Please leave. I'm so sorry about this.
Before you leave, make sure you leave via the Patreon door. If you head to patreon.com/backpocket and become a patron, then you never need to watch us playing golf. Instead, you can just hang out in a lovely Discord.
It's
and talk
truly
to
is
me.
punishment.
And if you've got that Amazon Prime, Pete, give me my soul.
What do you mean? You want?
He's already on it.
Yeah, but I want all.
Not over my shot.
Yeah.
Listen to you, piece of shit.
The indignancy.
Amazon Gaming Prime, whatever it's called now, was decent enough to give you a Prime sub because you want to watch the season 2 of The Boys. You should give us that Prime sub because if we get enough of those, we'll make a show better than season 2 of The Boys, and that's a
10
Nichboy
feet
promise.
away.
That was very good, Gus.
Thank you,
Great
Steph.
shot.
Thanks
Very-
for-
You got your ball very close to the hole.
It's called the cup.
The cup.
Is it?
Is it? Yeah, it is called a cup.
You go to a course and it's 18 holes.
Yeah, but 18 cups just sounds weird.
Do I need to change?
You could go left a bit with the D. Oh no, with the thumbstick. I think.
Yeah, the right thumb.
Do I
Left
need to
thumbstick.
change my? Does it pick
When
my
you go
cup
forward
for
and
me?
back, you
You're
see
already
the,
on a putter, yeah,
the
yeah.
measure at
I'm
the
on
bottom
it.
changes.
I'm on
You
it.
go-
Zonaut subscribed with Prime, and that is 2 months. You've got a limited time to earn exclusive remotes. I don't
Like
know.
when the
Let's
boys
get some
money.
hype train going. I don't know how that works. Just start subbing. Give
that
subs
was,
to people.
yeah,
Just
that
give
was-
subs. Subs.
What happened?
She was like,
Subs.
"Come on."
Little subscribe. Subs.
Steph's character putted,
Subs.
and Steph was like, "Oh, she went, come on!" And I was like, "No, she went."
No, that's what I mean. Like she was like,
Subs.
did he do that when he was happy or sad?
Sad.
Leighton.
That's what
no.
I mean.
Oh, sorry, Leighton did that.
when he was happy. It was, come on. I fucking nailed it.
Oh yeah.
That's why I
wrong-
don't invite you
wrong
into my
then,
club.
Wrong then. She did. She was like, fuck.
What is going on?
Hype train, ladies
Hype
and gentlemen.
train.
Hype train.
Silverhawks bucks.
Please
Subscribe
don't
for 2
get
months.
No, please don't hype.
Guys, quiet hype train golf shot.
Everyone, you deserve to be able to leave.
Golf claps from all.
Look, I will cut in a second. Peeking myself. The reason I'm sorry that I do this, it's just that we agreed that I am the one that seems like the person who can probably get away for asking for your money the most. I want to keep the others clean of this responsibility. I don't want them to have to talk about it all the time. They're they have dignity. Well, 2 of them have dignity, and
ball in the cup.
And the funny thing is, they're all laughing because they know who I'm talking about. And I just want to say that I'm sorry that I've been sub train hype. Yeah, we got another hype train. Don't know what it does, but hype train keeps coming. I'm sorry that this is the role that I have which is to just constantly talk to you about subs. But subscribe, and head to the Patreon and subscribe, and just subscribe. Subscribe on Twitch right now. Give us that free sub. Subscribe. All right, subs. Hype train 68%. I will putt when it gets to level 4.
Oh no!
Subscribe at a putt, or if you don't like golf, subscribe, but this will be over faster. So both ways works. 78%.
We're holding golf hostage now.
I swear to God, I'm not swinging a club until we get to a level 4 hype train.
I love the assumption that you're going to put it in with this putt too.
Oh, you better believe I'll put it in. That is a 99. That is 100% sub train. Level 4. Thank you very much. Who was that sub? That sub was Art of Callum. Woo, Callum.
Art Callum, this putt
one's
is
for
for
you,
you.
This putt is for Callum.
Confused
no.
Echidna said, come on,
That's a
hate
miss.
sub.
That's a miss.
Look, there's sad Nick.
Not enough of you subbed.
It would
Level
be
5 and he'll
it'd
putt
be
again.
awesome if they threw the golf club Happy Gilmore style when they really mess up.
So
Golfers do very
the
well at
old Tiger
controlling
Woods-
the range of the rage, but yeah.
The old Tiger Woods games used to be full of personality. They all did breakdancing when they got it in. You could choose all these wacky costumes.
Jake subscribed.
Tiger Woods 08 or something.
El Beno.
Great.
Rainbow says, having so much fun right now. Subscribed earlier, but didn't get noticed. Ah, well, you're getting noticed now, Rainbow Raptor. Sub. Rainbow Raptor.
I reckon full 30% there and you're in.
And Ronish says a word that was uttered in
hold that,
the post show. And I can't even bring myself to say. Even I can't say.
Little less, little the
Yeah, I
right,
saw
little the
that.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
I mean, that's what you're missing out on that
Here we
post.
go. It's going in.
Looking good.
That deserves a subscribe. Level 5 hype train. We just hit it because Steph got the goal and the cup and the ball in the hole.
Yes.
Peter, first one in, or did Gus get in as well?
Gus isn't
I'm
in
so
because
sorry you saw that.
how many shots are we on? Oh, that's in. That's an easy walk.
Ninja
down.
Pyro gifted subs to Gaza and Wonder Potter and Fred Spencer and Jen Slinger. Jen Slinger doesn't need a sub. She's fine. But also, it's nice that she's watching.
Nick, put it in the hole.
Just saying, it's nice. It's nice to be noticed by people that we respect. All right, and boom.
So that was a good putt.
Why are you sad, you piece of shit, Archie?
She got a shit score.
In time.
Jeez.
Tap and be
He's
on
like,
the way.
Time for
Why is there something I don't know about my character?
You got a shit score.
I thought you said she got a shit score.
No.
Right, okay.
you have selected
Left, right, high train.
Yes.
Dark Ezra's gifting subs to all sorts of people. 8-bit Olive,
May I
and Huffy,
suggest
and a
Putter?
hungry tree. Go, Dark Ezra. You're my favorite Ezra.
Like to play
Ezra.
again? You have
My
selected.
Ezra sucks.
Oh.
No.
May I suggest feathered touch?
I'm going to use power drive.
You have selected Power Drive. Ball is in parking lot. Would you like to play again? Oh, let me have a quick drive! Quick!
Rattlehead Jake subscribed, and Rattlehead Jake also has a logo in this show, so Rattlehead Jake is obviously
that over the bunker.
best of us.
It's 101% power. It's going to get over the bunker.
How? Clever Sauce just gifted a bunch of subs to Buggles and Luke Star, and I'm
my
sorry
God,
that
Clever
I'm being
Sauce.
this person, but
I can actually see
No,
this being a party game.
you're doing the more
I'm doing the Lord's
important
work.
part of this show than playing this shitty
that's
game.
true. I'm actually making sure that Scotty gets fed Amazon receipts or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Or like the non-chocolate end of Pocky.
We're shutting this down.
Oh, golf's gone.
We're on a
Gus won.
97% hype train, and that is so exciting. And that is all because of you. Because you guys are the... Who won?
Nick,
Gus had the
Nick
lowest.
Boy.
Pete, can I have my single?
Nick
I think
Boy,
I had the
yes.
high score.
Pete, can I have my single? Thanks very much for
Did I
playing,
win?
everyone. No, you didn't. No, that's why I had my single. I won.
He doesn't have a single. You
I know.
don't have
Do you
a
want to talk?
single.
No, I'm not going to fall for this.
Who won?
Good game, everyone. Good game.
Who won? Who won? I don't
Gus got the lowest score. What a loser.
Well, I'll tell you what we don't have. The lowest hype train. It's 297%.
Holy
So thank you
smokes.
very
Nice.
much. Level 5, 297%.
That's almost enough to warrant that we should all, after this, do some research and work out what a hype train does exactly.
Yeah. I really need to find that out. I think there are bits involved. If you want to sling some bits in us, like there were little clits, then just.
My fucking God.
Oh no.
I'm just saying it's funny because it was part of the thing, but definitely we're
I
never
was
gonna
just
do
about
it.
to
For
say that
anyone
I...
who's just tuned into the stream and didn't understand the very tenuous link to a previous joke that he just used,
Yep.
I apologize.
I'm sorry. Like people are saying, "God damn it, Nick," and
I
I'm
was
really
just about to say, like, on a serious note, I really appreciated a quick little game of golf with you guys, and that was very wholesome and lovely. And then Nick had to go and spoil it by just throwing the thing in the gutter.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, gotta.
What you
Well
did-
done.
No, that's not what I mean. Post show, let's go.
It wasn't. My God. All right. This is post show stuff, Pete Guns. Thank you very much, everyone, for doing all the subscribing. If you just did it yourself offline, then I wouldn't need to debase myself and ruin the golf game. But you didn't, so I had to when I did. All right. That's it for tonight's show. We're gonna
Oh,
head
wait, I have a little surprise for you.
Oh, dude.
It's not, I don't want to talk it up too much, but
Oh, yeah. It's the last one on the playlist.
can you not look at that
Please.
for a second and just look at me? And you can just play it and I'll just talk over it because it's got a bit of a long intro.
This is for me specifically?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So have you heard of the genre of music bardcore?
No. Is this like hardcore Witcher music?
Kind of. It's medieval covers of popular songs.
The title just disappeared, so we can look now.
Yes. So this is a cover of a song which you'd probably recognize by an artist called Hildegard von Blingen.
Of course.
How is she doing?
She's doing great. Great. Lots of great covers. And this particular one I came across because I've subscribed to this channel now because there's just some bangers on there.
People
And I
are very
thought you'd-
excited about
I
this.
thought you would appreciate it. And it's got lyrics that come up.
I was going to say, like, what an intro.
Yeah.
Can I get a little more, a smoosh more vol?
You'll hear it. You'll hear it.
I will.
It's a quiet intro by the sound.
So bardcore, I assume it gets hardcore, or is it?
Oh my god.
Oh,
Change the
God.
words?
That's good. This is amazing. Also, like, this is so you finding this.
But the way they change all the lyrics is so good.
Just a few more these and days and what are they like? Nice. Yeah.
I beg of thee, please do not take my lord.
Coffee in his sleep.
A lot of takers, alas.
And if you subscribe to the Discord, the Patreon at the $10 level, and have access to the Discord, $5 level,
Yeah, $5.
and have access to the Discord, you'll see the Yeoldi talk, Yeoldi chats in the
Oh yeah.
in some of the talk channels, and you can get in there and have some Yeoldi chats like this song.
This is amazing.
Should we bring the show out with this in the background?
Good.
It's lovely.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Can we do this every week?
Hardcore. Amazing. And massive thank you to everyone. We just got 31 subscribers because that's
Oh, wonderful. Thank you, everyone.
Alright.
They love their
so
golf.
nice. Thank you
Love
for
their
finding
golf.
this, Steph.
The YouTube channel is called Hildegard von Blingen. But if you just search Bardcore Jolene, this is one of
And
the
at the end of all of these,
Not a lot of
say,
hardcore covers.
does she, at the end of all of these, say like, and smacketh the subscribe button?
Bronish96 in the chat says Community has a great parody of this song called Gay D.
They do.
Yeah.
It's such a good episode. It actually has a really lovely message as well.
I need to rewatch that show. All right, thank you very much, everyone, for hanging out for Back Pocket tonight. It was a pleasure as always and a fun show.
Quick rundown of the week. We've got another. We'll have a daily backup. I think next Monday.
Yep.
But then Tuesday will be a playback of Struggling, which you saw in the trailer there that we did. Another
Somewhat daily backup.
somewhat
Wednesday.
daily backup. We really got to nail that one. And then the show next week as well.
That is
So we'll be
correct.
back next week to do it all again.
Here we go.
Absolutely. And we are very thankful for all of you for watching and hanging out, being a part of Patreon, being a part of the community. And genuinely, like, I talk about the Patreon a lot, but the Discord is where the business is at. Everyone on the Discord is incredible. They are so lovely. Like, I don't get enough time to talk there because we literally just work the entire day, and then as soon as I walk out of the office, it's like kids, whatever, and then so I don't really get time to just scroll through everything, but I occasionally check, and you'll see me just like random things in the middle of like
Little reacts.
Like, there have been 476 messages since 2 hours ago, and then I'm like in the middle of that, and I'm just like, and people are like, he's here.
I get overwhelmed. You can catch me in the creative thread. I like see the art
See
everyone's
what
doing.
Dusk Bunny gets
I
up
was
to.
in-
Dust Bunny does some amazing art. I like putting some of my own art in there as well, and it's a lovely little group.
I was in watching this week talking about Tenet.
You've seen it.
I've seen it.
Yeah, we went and saw Tenet.
You
saw it.
You didn't tell me that.
Well, that's it for the.
We tell each other everything.
I'm playing Destiny.
Yeah, what's happened to us? So please, if you are a patron already, make sure you head to the Discord because it's amazing. And it's amazing because we've got so many incredible mods looking after it all and who are doing a really amazing job. And all of them, I don't know, you probably didn't notice, but all of them took a bit of time off this week to just take care of themselves. And I think that's very important. And that is why we want them to be healthy, strong, lovely people.
And their mod mugs are done and not on their way, but on their way here. And then we will have the mod godlike
merch
mugs.
begins.
The merch starts. The pocket mugs as well are shipping here as we speak. Thus begins the merch empire that we shall build.
Yeah, 'cause
pockety
owe
goodness.
We do owe some mugs already.
We do,
And
yep.
we've got notes.
They are on their way.
They're on their way here, and then they'll be on their way to you.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs and Skeletons screams, talk to us about F1, you piece of shit. Yes, that is, I mean, the sports channel is really where I'm hanging out most of the time. I do think, actually, I can't confirm, but I think you spoiled the surprise of the mod mug thing by mentioning it on the show a couple of days ago, which is fine. Because the mods were all like, we're getting mugs? And we were like, and we were getting...
That was a secret?
Yeah,
Well,
that's fine.
yeah.
I didn't think we told you.
When I reached out to them, I was just like, we want to send you something.
Ah.
And they were.
I like that it was a
they-
secret that Nick said we never told you.
I know,
So-
but now the mods are part of the canon of Gus spoiling things. So really, it's just like,
That's true.
it's a big family
bigger
in
part of
joke.
the
That's true. It's so not a big deal at all. But when you just said it, then, like, your mugs are on the way, it's like, some of them still don't know about the mugs, but now they definitely know about
Loop
the
me
mugs.
in the fucking emails. Come on.
No, I know.
And obviously, everyone in the Discord as well, post show coming up now. So head over there and you'll find the link for the private stream. And that's another reason to get on the Patreon and get in the Discord.
Correct, Mundo. All right, thanks very much for everyone for watching. We hope you have a great week, and we hope everyone in Melbourne and Victoria in particular are staying safe and are very healthy. It's all a very weird time, but we all have each other, and that is very important. So thanks very much, guys, for hanging out, and we
Here's
will
Raj.
see. That was Raj. Cut the show. He's here. He's in the building. Bye.